Welcome into the stream, everyone. Long stream today. We are going to have Erik Beimfohr for the first couple hours. Then Mr. Ben Gretch, yards per Gretch, from Stealing Signals is going to hop on, and we are going to close out with Sam Sherman. This is also going to be a home and home today. I'm going to be hopping on Erik's show, the Spike Week program, a little bit later in the day. And then tonight, if you guys are really looking to hang around tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Going to be doing my first high stakes redraft team of the season with Sammy Reed and Nate Noling. We are going to be drafting in the RotoWire Online Championship. Can't wait for that. Erik, it's been a long off season. We are 35 days away. The Hall of Fame game begins tonight. Really, I would have loved to have seen one drive of Caleb, but I will satisfy myself with a little bit of Demetric Felton. How's the summer going, bud?
It's going phenomenal. I'm super today. I don't know what it is about the Hall of Fame game. Watching a bunch of, future insurance salesmen play football just gets me really jazzed up for best ball season. But it has been last year. So every year is a unique little, puzzle during the whole off season. And quite frankly, last year really went against me. Like last summer really went against me, and it was kind of some psychological warfare. I was really into J.K. Dobbins, and I was really into Sam Howell, Rashad Penny, Damian Harris, Rashad Bateman, Treylon Burks. Like most of those situations obviously didn't go well over the course of the season, but also the summer was really brutal. Like, is Rashad Penny going to make the team? Is Latavius Murray ahead of Damian Harris? Et cetera, et cetera. This summer, other than I like Kendre Miller, other than Kendre Miller, everything has been really smooth sailing. So it's like a lot less stressful this summer, which has me even more excited for kind of this stretch run.
For sure. I couldn't be with you. I'm going to address this real quick. People are going to keep asking this. I will say this. This is how I feel. The first being, they're in the fantasy football and fantasy baseball world. You are not going to find a perfect operator. There are things to dislike about all of them. These are very high rake contests. Go and do the calculations on the rake, on FFPC, on FFWC, on NFC. The rake is going to be much higher than you think. And I am making the same judgment that I make when I enter contests on Underdog, that I make when I enter contests anywhere, which is that, yeah, I could be getting cheated. You could be getting cheated in any contest, and I think that NFFC bringing in the third-party investigator who this is not them saying it. The third-party investigator did find, basically no wrongdoing on the part of the other employees. It was, basically this rogue guy. And if you think that I am being naive, you think that I am wrong, got no issue with that. I really like if you think less of me for playing on there, that's completely your right. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but I'm going to be playing in those contests. I'm also going to be playing on the FFPC, which is done. I mean, you want to talk about a real rug pull, like the Taysom Hill thing, that changing a position of a guy after a draft has began. I mean, it's not good. Like that's not, imagine Erik, imagine if Underdog, after 650,000 teams had been drafted in Best Ball Mania, they said, you know what, Justin Fields is a running back now. Like just imagine.
As a Justin Fields drafter, I would rage.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fine for me, but it would be a blatant. It would be brutal.
It would completely ruin the entire. I'm not trying to get into NFFC versus FFPC and all that kind of stuff, but like the Taysom thing was really bad. I actually think it's kind of really hard bad. I think it's hard to even wrap your head. It just feels like it's a, and he didn't end up really doing anything special, so it doesn't sound like as bad. But like, especially tight end premium, the subtlety that is Taysom Hill, like he's labeled as a tight end, but really he's like this weird gadget
and it's
player.
Because the Saints are cheating. It's like it all comes down to the Saints being like this bullshit organization. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that Taysom Hill's position being changed is literally worse than a back end user, like an ultimate bet, an ultimate bet, user scandal. And Ryan Jones, I wasn't taking it as you calling me out. I knew people were gonna want to be like, what's the deal? Like why would you be drafting on this site after what happened? I think it's totally fair. They are like, I had a call with them before I agreed to do these contests, and they were like, we anticipate people asking about this, and just be honest and upfront about it. So that is what we're doing. But none of that is the point. That is not what we're doing on this stream. What we're doing on this stream is that we are going to draft in Best Ball Mania. We are going to draft some good teams, and we are going to attempt to draft. I titled this video the getting the must draft players in 2024 fantasy football, because I think that's where we're at in the season. I think we are now at the point of the season where we feel pretty good about where guys are at in the hierarchy of their teams. We feel pretty good about which rookies are going to make the roster, all of that stuff. And we drew the 3. Beautiful. And Josh Dombrowski just gifted 5 memberships. God damn. We are absolutely rolling to begin the stream. But what do you normally do at 3?
So I'm a noted 0 running back bro, but probably my biggest stance in all of best ball this year is I'm not drafting Christian McCaffrey. And so that's like I totally understand. Someone would say you're a moron, and I mean he's my 4th overall player, so like I respect the fact that Christian McCaffrey's really good at football. Obviously, it's as you know, and other people have probably said on your shows, it's very much a structural and like market based thing. I always think about like we call it back to front drafting. There's like an infinite amount of running backs from the mid to late rounds that I genuinely like and want to draft. And the more I draft Christian McCaffrey and Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson, it's not that I can't draft those guys. I just end up disliking those teams a lot more. So I'm taking CD or Tyreek at the 103, whoever is available there. Or, if we happen to be in a room that also hates Christian McCaffrey, Davis, I'm starting to get the itch to move Justin Jefferson ahead of Jamar Chase. And maybe that's
ball. I
mean, I'm the guy who keeps saying, so I would take Tyreek here at the 103.
Ship it. I only have 6.6% Tyreek because I've got 20% Justin Jefferson. I've had him as my number 2 guy or number 3 guy, depending on when it's been drafted. We did take Tyreek. I mean, look, I'm fine to balance these bags out a little bit. I love Justin Jefferson, but I did kind of have a come to Jesus moment where it's like, man, Tyreek, I think he's like kind of a dog to be the guy you need in the playoffs because of all the the Tua playoff cold weather, all that stuff. But
the whole, by the way, we do that for Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, like all of these guys are softies. Like Achane, the whole offense is like the greatest 7-on-7 team over the summer you've ever seen in your entire life. And then get to December against Cleveland, in Cleveland or whatever. And it's like, I don't want any of these guys.
I mean, I watched with my own goddamn eyes the Miami Dolphins quit on their season. Week 18, they had a chance. Week 18, they had a chance to avoid the Chiefs. They didn't. They showed up to Arrowhead in 4-degree weather, worse than 4-degree weather. And they did, let's just be honest, guys, they did not try in that game. They really Tyreek scored the touchdown. They came out in the second half and they were like, we're whooped. Like we're beat in this game. And I mean, you could say that's like, that's a little bit too ball knowing. That's a little bit too that's very anecdotal level analysis. But man, I can't forget it. I can't forget it.
Well, who else did that too? Was the Eagles. We had 2 of the most high-powered offenses that quiet.
Well, and that's how biased I am.
They loud.
I completely forgive them for quitting.
Yeah, they totally quit. Like they got stomped by the Bucks and Baker Mayfield in the playoffs. It was like 2 years ago when Daniel Jones and Isaiah Hodgins beat Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson in the playoffs. It was like crazy to think about at like week 8 or 10 that the Eagles would get destroyed by the Tampa Bay Bucks in the playoffs. But both of those offenses, I think, are actually pretty interesting. I'm drafting both of the Eagles and the Dolphins because they're the Eagles and the Dolphins.
Sure.
But the Dolphins at least made it, maybe I'm discounting Saquon, but I don't really think Saquon makes a big difference over DeAndre Swift and whoever else in the backfield. Whereas the Dolphins did some interesting things. I think Jalen Wright is certainly a ancillary like break glass in case of emergency running back. But
and Jonnu, I mean, they were getting nothing from tight end last year.
I mean, Jonnu over Durham Smythe is like a pretty monumental upgrade,
It's
especially
monumental.
for their the way they play offense, especially. Like Jonnu is kind of the perfect like cheap tight end. You would always rather have Travis Kelce or something, but in terms of a affordable tight end, Jonnu's really the perfect fit from a yak perspective and all that kind of stuff. And then they brought in another, we can't make it. We're 10 minutes in. A Malik Washington reference had to be had here, but he is a good fit, right? So they're bringing in a bunch like there's no more Robbie Chosen Anderson and River Craycraft,
Cedric Wilson, River Craycraft.
Yeah, we're not just bringing in bodies; we're bringing in really good fits to the offense. So I'm hopeful for both of those offenses, even though the end of last year was a disastrous for both.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like obviously the Dolphins are going to be one of the most efficient passing offenses in the NFL in the regular season. There's definitely a chance that adding Smythe, Washington, Beckham, the other running back, I mean, a full preseason of A-Chain being healthy and being treated as like a lead back. I mean, A-Chain was a game day inactive
week one,
week
right?
one,
yeah,
week one last year. Olave, Ayuk, Devonta, Neighbors. I don't really care.
I'm trying to look at exposures. Let's do Olave fell a little bit here. That's probably a little
he's
different pairing.
He's falling right now because he had
he fell.
like
he had the hard fall.
Hip injury or something. We will almost certainly get to the Eric All and Andre Yoshibas portion of the show. Almost
about 30 minutes, buddy. About 30 minutes, and we will be talking about my favorite Bengals.
Also, Jason, that's literally exactly what this means. $5 a month private. It literally does mean that you can buy my friendship for cheap. That's like quite literally that is the exact proposition. Ryan, we'll get to this because I do have some thoughts about it right after we make this pick. I love this pick. This is like my favorite pick to make is the early portion of the third round. But man, the back half of the third round is
pain.
Is once DJ Moore and Cooper Kupp go, you're just in absolute jail. I really actually don't care between Kupp and Moore.
Let's do Kupp. Sets up McBride later if we want to do McBride.
Sets us up with another quarterback too.
Yeah, cheap quarterback
that I like. So the cheat motion thing, I mean, we saw a pretty good example of one of the things the teams are going to be doing with that Xavier Worthy viral clip yesterday. The guys who are coming out immediately before 5 yards are going to be getting smoked by linebackers a lot. That is one thing that they're going to do, and they're going to have to really defensive coordinators and linebackers are going to challenge. Will referees call that stuff all the time?
Yep.
Will that be illegal defensive holding? There's a different name for it. Not holding.
Illegal contact.
Legal contact. Yeah, something like that. Chris Harris, the old Broncos corner, quote tweeted that video yesterday and said that's penalty. Yeah, that's a penalty on the defense. But that's one of the things that they're gonna do for sure.
That clip, by the way, I'm not sure the ball was snapped when Xavier Worthy when the first DB made contact with Xavier Worthy. He's moving laterally and no one else on the screen is moving.
No one else is moving.
So I was like, I get it. It looks really bad, and he's little, so when a linebacker he's off balance and a linebacker hits him, it's gonna look really bad. But I'm not super worried. I don't know if you are. I think that
come on. If anything, that clip is gonna be good because I literally do think his ADP is gonna be like 1.5 aggregate spots lower today.
Yeah, it's crazy. We read the things we tell ourselves in May, all the things that we're supposed to react to and supposed to be on the lookout for at this time of year. And then Xavier Worthy gets knocked down like a pinball in practice one day, and he's going to fall in the drafts the next day, right? The Olave that we selected, like he took a hard fall. So of course you want to monitor the hard fall, but the instant reporting afterwards, he's fine. He's fine, guys.
People have been so bored drafting for the 2 months before this that now when we get information, you want to just like, I mean, I do it too. Like I didn't 2 days ago, the day Stephen Jones compared Rico Dowdle to Malik Davis. Guess what? I didn't take Rico Dowdle once that day.
Right,
like
right.
I do it too. So it's not like I'm saying that people are bad for doing this, but it's just the human tendency to react to what we just saw.
But there's a difference between, and say whatever we want about the Cowboys and Stephen Jones. There's a difference between them giving us some, even if it's not true. So we'll get to this later as well. The Deneric Prince CEH stuff. Even if this is just like an Andy Reid experiment to see if Deneric Prince can be the guy, and it ends up being
I think we're past that. Sadly,
trust me, I agree. I'm taking Deneric Prince like in every draft right now. But like, let's just say that was the case. Even if it's just, by the end of camp, CH is back with the twos. I'm willing to see if it's really Deneric Prince. Whereas like Olave takes a hard fall. Like, what are we doing? Like, he's gonna be fine. So it's deciphering which things to react to is really the whole name of the game right now.
All right. So Pacheco went right there. That would have been who I wanted. This is like a little bit of a fall for Amari, and for Amari goes. What are you thinking here? Pick
Trey
46.
McBride. Trey McBride for me.
So yeah, Kelsey's gone.
Yeah,
all the tight ends are gone.
Laporta's gone.
How about you?
Andrews is gone.
You don't see that very often. Laporta went 43 behind Andrews, behind Kelsey. Yeah, you do not see that very often. I guess Kincaid is still on the board. I just don't have him on. I just don't have him on my rankings that high. I don't draft Mac Hollins because he's like this. We did that ADP chasing graphic the other day. He's he's the sacrificial X wide receiver. Which is not to say that he like can't get there, but I don't love him. We can kind of do whatever we want with this pick. I think we could literally any of these guys in the rankings or ADPQ makes sense. Probably not Cook.
The wide receivers are really good. Not James Cook, but I'm open to really any of the wide receivers. Keenan is my highest ranked wide receiver amongst these guys, but I really like Keenan, Terry, Worthy, Rice. All
right, Kincaid goes. All right, so we're set up for Tua, we're set up for Carr, we're set up for Kyler, we're set up for Stafford.
We got tons of If you want a Chiefs guy,
I was gonna say let's take a Chiefs guy. Yeah, we don't have to sweat them Mahomes.
Because we got right.
I don't love taking the Chiefs wide receiver there when you've got like if we had Devonta or something, like if one of our quarterbacks was already gone and you took
Andrews. You took Andrews and Lamar got sniped away from you, and you have all of these wide receivers that you can't get their quarterbacks. It's a huge deal, but also like I know you're into the Chiefs. How do you play that a lot if you're trying to get a lot of the Chiefs and all of the wide receivers go there now? And like Rashi at least used to be cheaper.
It's very hard. It's actually very hard to get Mahomes. You really can't get Mahomes with two of the guys anymore.
No.
I mean, what I'm doing is I'm doing what the 11 hole did, which is I'm taking Mahomes. I'm either snapping on Kelsey early and doing it, or when you're picking here at this spot, when you're picking at 3, 4, or 5 and Mahomes comes around, you can more or less guarantee your ability to get one of the guys. I mean, maybe if the guy on the turn double taps them or something, you run out of it. But I think that's strong. John Stepp asking why I'm so far below Kincaid in my ranks. I mean, the first reason is that I've got Pitts over him because I think the Falcons are going to throw for more yards. I mean, obviously the Bills offense is going to be better, but the other thing is if you start getting in the nitty gritty of the projections and you keep Kincaid even at his average depth of target that he had when Knox was out last year, you got to get him to like 150 targets or something.
It was rough.
Yeah,
he was good for tight end premium. I had him. I only drafted a couple main events, and I ended up with Dalton. I didn't like him, but I ended up with Dalton Kincaid. It was fine for like tight end premium because they were spamming those 5-yard targets when Dawson Knox was out. But it takes, speaking of projections,
these
like
projections,
no pun intended.
Like
it takes
look
a lot
at
of
Mike Clay's projection for Dalton Kincaid. I mean, I'm not going to say Mike Clay is like the GOAT. I mean, he might be the GOAT of projections, but these are the best free projections you're going to get. and he's got him for 102 targets, 75 receptions, 707 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's an Evan Ingram-ass stat line, like
Yep.
Compare that to what, Pitts is projected for. Like even like a bearish Pitts projection has him, like Clay has him for fewer targets, but more yards, more touchdowns, more points. Like just for example, Drew, those are, you can literally get those for free. Like literally just Google Mike Clay NFL ESPN projections. They're literally free. They are, I mean, they're free projections, so your opponents are going to have access to them, and there are issues with all that, but they're pretty good. Mike is very good, and because he works for that large company, they don't have to charge for them.
Yeah. The other thing is, so a lot of the projections will be baked into ADP. It's kind of, we're all working off the same assumptions, but there's fun things around the edges, I think. And Kincaid is actually a really, really good one, where he's priced as though there's this big leap coming. And look, I think Dalton Kincaid's probably a pretty good player, fun prospect, whatever. But we need a pretty gargantuan leap from what happened last year. And I understand Stephon Diggs is gone. And I understand Gabe Davis is gone. So there's potential for it. But like you have to earn it. You have to get better. You have to be a better football player to earn that leap from a production sense. And if you listen to the Bills, all these dudes are taking leaps. Like we talk about the Rashad Bateman propaganda.
I think we take wide receiver and then we make this a 6 running back team.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
Hopkins, Deontay, JSN.
I like Hopkins.
Cool.
I actually like Nuke at this price.
Yeah, and that gives us another quarterback as well. Yeah.
But I was just gonna say it, like the Bills, we joke about like the Rashad Bateman propaganda and JMO propaganda and all this from these teams. If you listen to the Bills beats, they are going to have the greatest offense that's ever stepped foot onto a football field. Like Dalton Kincaid is making plays, and Keon Coleman is the best rookie wide receiver you've ever seen, and Curtis Samuel is a superstar, and James Cook and Ray Davis. Every day, it's one of my favorite points to be like, I know that all these guys are getting hype, but they can't all be superstars.
This is crazy. McBride is different than Kincaid because he's already done it. We have he's literally gone onto a football field and led his team in targets for like 5 games.
He was a star last year. Trey McBride was a star. Kincaid was just a role player last year.
Like, I mean, Kincaid had a good stretch. Like I'm not mean, like I don't even have Kincaid that far below ADP. It's just that I've got him below Pitts, so I basically never get him. But I'm totally comfortable with that distinction. You want to do Kyler?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Bang.
That's nice.
Kyler, a little ahead of ADP, but we've got him with Kupp and with McBride, and now we can settle in to that beautiful running back range that starts in round 7, where you can just completely start smashing guys. Yeah, I mean, look, this is definitely true. Someone on the Bills is definitely pretty underpriced. My bet is that it's actually the 2 running backs and Samuel. I think one of the most interesting things is that Joe Brady telegraphed pretty clearly he wants to kind of take away some of the mistakes that Allen makes. Like, not the mistakes. He doesn't want him throwing deep all that often because Allen has a propensity to turn the ball over a little bit and to eat some sacks that are unbecoming. And it's partially because he's really been let down by his wide receivers the last year. I mean, Diggs just did not play that well last year. No. He really did not after about week 6 or so. I think it's Samuel, though. I think Samuel could end up like him and Calvin Ridley, who goes in the 5th round, could be like the same to me.
I know you listen to Matt Harmon, but my ears always perk up when Matt has a guy like that, like Curtis Samuel, that he really likes. And then forces Matt does real NFL work. Like, of course, he's doing a little bit of fantasy stuff, but like he's analyzing these wide receivers from a real football perspective, which isn't always perfect apples to apples for this game that we're playing. So when it's like, when he likes whatever, pick up Chris Olave more than I do, I'm like, I also think Chris Olave is good, but it's a situational issue that causes Olave to not be a top 10 wide receiver or whatever. But when it's Curtis Samuel or somebody that's like I'm like, I mean, he's fine, But like, why do you have this love affair with this 27-year-old longtime role player or whatever? And then I'll dig into that and see these really smart people who have really good reasons to love those kind of guys. And that's when, like, Curtis Samuel is my high. I have him ranked over Keon in the rankings.
I think I've got him literally back to back.
Yeah, and I understand why people like Keon, but like, I don't know, you can get the actual guy who's shown to be really good in the NFL from really smart people at a pretty, 2 rounds after Keon. So I just thought that the Curtis Samuel one was good because people will gloss over him. You just go to Pro Football Reference and look through his historical logs. You're like, this guy is just a guy. But there's some other reasons to believe that's not true.
The thing is that McBride is not going to lose snaps to anyone at the tight end position. That is the huge difference, is that Kincaid might, on an average week, run about 70% of the available routes. McBride will have games. I'll bet he has, if I set the line at 2.5, I'd say I bet he's got 2.5 games where he plays 100% of the snaps or something, or 95% of the snaps.
That question, go check Sam Laporta versus Amon-Ra St. Brown targets last year. Go check Travis Kelce versus Tyreek Hill targets back in those Chief days. Like, the tight end doesn't have to lead the team in targets to be. If you're really good, Mark Andrews, he's got
to be able to be 2 though. He's got to be able to be 2.
You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be behind. Right, like if there's Tyreek and Waddle, you don't want it. Like, that's why Jonnu goes cheaply. We don't want to be far down the totem pole. You need to be, the 1B or the 2 or whatever. But it's totally fine for the tight end to be behind Marvin Harrison Jr. Also, that's not a lock.
Yeah, I've got like no real opinion between these two guys. I've got Keon 80 and Samuel 81, which feels right to me. All right, we gotta probably take a running back here. Which one do you want?
Let's. We have Tyreek.
We do have Tyreek.
We don't have any. I'm just looking at our, like week 17.
Yeah,
I have Mostert the highest. I have Mostert the highest, just like you do. So let's just take him.
All right. Never loved Mostert as the running back one, but it is what it is. I really like this is totally over now, but you used to be able to get like James Conner or whatever.
I know.
There. Yeah.
Those were the good days.
Keon is definitely the better pick in a contest where you're trying to win $1.5 million, but Samuel is also a good pick. Like, Keon's floor is like 0. Keon's floor is like nothing, but I think, what was it? Sam Sherman said this to me the other day. Like, why can't he have like Kelvin Benjamin's rookie year, where he's like the only functional wide receiver on the team, so he just gets fed a bunch of like relatively inefficient targets, and the Bills will be so efficient running the ball. Yeah, that's the other thing, is like Curtis Samuel is like the 8th year, and the knock on him was always that he couldn't stay healthy. He's been and they're trying to use him out of the backfield and stuff. So how much does he really hold up with all of that?
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely is good.
The only thing I would counter to the, like, he's low ceiling is you're looking, like I said, you're going to Pro Football Reference and you're looking at his counting stats in Carolina and in Washington, playing with Kyle Allen and Sam Darnold and Sam Howell and Taylor Heineke. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but that's why I brought up Matt Harmon, was because I'm not a Curtis Samuel stan. Brian Robinson for me. I like Chase Brown, but top 100.
It's coming.
Rich.
It's coming. The flippening is coming. Moss is down to running back 28. Brown's up to running back 34. I bet we've got about a week left of that before it goes full Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. Although when it was only virgins drafting in the big board, Jaylen Warren was going ahead and Najee was going behind, and now it's flip flopped.
We need just somebody pay somebody on the Bengals to speak nicely about Zach Moss for just like a few days. So
he's looked good. The beat writers have said like he looks fine. Like he's whatever, but he's just not. There's nothing exciting about Zach Moss. He's never had more than 190 touches in a season. The list of running backs that he's been benched for, in his life, it's not great. How are the college football drafts going? I'm enjoying them. I can only do slows for them though.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm loving it. I
gotta drive over the border.
I'm 75 into best bowl Mania, they did just launch a new one, $3 20 max, I think, yesterday. That I'm definitely gonna max. Maybe, like you said, I just get bored a little bit with the NFL stuff. I'm pretty rejuvenated now. Like I said, Hall of Fame game and camps going on, so it gives you a little more motivation. But man, when they launched college football, I was like, God, I really needed it. Like I needed something else
Something.
to sink my teeth into. It's super flex. There's way more teams, and the player pool is huge, and there's a lot more strategy around it. Teams are on bye in the playoffs. Some teams are on bye. 2 teams are on bye in the semifinals of the playoffs. So there's like a ton of different strategy around it. I'm loving it, man.
Oklahoma and Ole Miss both have a Week 12 bye, and so I think a bunch of my teams I've drafted are probably already dead because of that. Because to have a complete
just
roster.
Started firing, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I just started firing a ton, and I was like, Jackson Dart, and I mean, Oklahoma will have some growing pains and stuff, but like their quarterback doesn't go to round 3, and Nick Anderson doesn't go to round 5, so it's just like, well, whatever. I guess I'm just gonna lose.
Yeah, Nick Anderson. So and we don't need to turn this into a college football show, but Nick Anderson was like my DFS pet play du jour because the Oklahoma offense is a goddamn goal. In the Big 12, we'll see. In the SEC, it's an absolute gold mine. And he was the new Marvin Mims, and the original Marvin Mims was Andrew Anthony, and he tore his ACL, and it was just like free 70-yard bombs every single week in the Oklahoma offense, every single week. So, but it's. If you enjoy best ball at all, and if you're going to watch or care about college football, I think it's cool to hop in some of these. It's just for like sweat equity and something a little bit different. They're really, really fun drafts. It's really fun.
That's what I want. I just wanted more sweat equity for college football. Okay. So all the guys that I was hoping one of these guys would get back, Brown, Moss, or Javonte, they all go.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. So this is definitely going to be a 2 quarterback, 2 tight end team. We might even go 7 running backs on this team because Mostert and Robinson have big, not part of the team's game plan in the fantasy football playoffs equity going on.
Can you pull up the queue? We're almost assuredly going running back here. I mean, you want to add to our backfield of not playing in week 17. There's certainly a guy there, but also Fitz. He goes
Singletary.
Anyway, we'll see what this guy does here, but I would float Blake Corum. I don't want Trey Benson. I'm going to get that out of the way first. The Trey Benson comments in Arizona, rough. It's not looking very good. He's not even in the mix to be the backup. I like to do this. Sometimes a like little sneaky thing in your like week 17 game stacks. Take the handcuff running back. On the right. It's like if you took Kyron over Cam Akers and you had the whatever, Daniel Jones stack didn't work. But when you take it's like a little bit of extra way to be like, I actually don't need this to go perfect. When you take Saquon with CD and that kind of stuff, you're like, I really need this game to have like 80 points. When I take the backup running back, I can there's a bunch of different alternative paths that can lead to me, because when I take him in the 11th or 12th round, I don't need as much from a Blake Corum, but he can produce as much if Kyron Williams is injured in week 17.
We're definitely going to get at least one more running back that we kind of like here. We kind of need to decide if we want to lean into more early season production and take some more rookies late. That would be Zeke, or I guess Sharps, but the home run late season play would say Mostert gets us started and Chubb is back by week 8 or 9.
Oh, interesting. Do you prefer Chubb to Zeke? I take Zeke.
I think
Sharps.
I got like none of both of them. Sharps, you like?
I like Sharps a lot. Yeah, I think he probably is the right fit because he can offer both. He can offer like, expect Ken Walker to lead the backfield in week 1 or whatever, but I'm not that confident about that with the new coaching staff. And I think Sharps fits what they're trying to do a little bit better. And he obviously has the late season contingent value upside. So I kind of
Jake,
like
the thing about Mostert is that he's literally the oldest running back in the NFL. Well, it depends on how you classify Cordarrelle Patterson. If you classify Cordarrelle Patterson as a running back, then CPAT is the oldest. But if you classify him as like a special teams or a wide receiver, Mostert is literally the oldest running back in the NFL. He is the same age that Latavius Murray was heading into last season. And I'm not saying that Raheem is the same as Latavius Murray. He wasn't a starting running back in college. He was never a starting running back for the 49ers. It's a different thing. But you tell me when you get to age 32, if you feel the same way waking up in the morning that you do when you are 22. You are gonna feel different. And I don't like taking Henry either, because Henry is 30, like a 30-year-old running. I just, I'm really I'm a real ageist. And it's part of the reason why I am still drafting Trey Benson. I mean, I'm drafting James Conner too, because I'm super high on the Arizona Cardinals offense. But Benson was like a pretty good prospect, and James Conner is 29. Yeah, the difference between Benson and Corum is that they have a third running back who can play. Not Michael Carter's not a great running back, but he can be on an NFL team. Ronnie Rivers has gotten opportunities in the NFL and like literally like is not capable of playing at all.
Well, and Amari DiMercado is right now running, mixing in on passing downs and running with the one. So it's just muddied in Arizona, to the point where also maybe the most important part, and maybe this will work out for us, is that Trey Benson's going to fall in your drafts. So if you select him at current 80, it's like hoping that Chase Brown is available at his actual ADP in the app. It's like, buddy, no, you got to take him, at least like 6 picks ahead of where his ADP goes if you want Chase Brown. The opposite is true for Trey Benson. Is like, if you want, he's going to be available later. So
if you want him, you can get him
a little bit. Yeah, you can get him.
All right, we're probably back now to where we can kind of take whoever we want. Wide receivers here, running backs here. Schultz is after ADP. What are you thinking? Not really a quarterback that makes sense for us here yet.
No. What's running back? So
McLaughlin, Algier, Wright, Vidal.
Can we take Tyler Algier? I know it's ahead of ADP,
sure,
but I just want him on this team. He's a fit for this team. He's my highest exposure player across all of best ball. So I would be remiss if I did not draft Tyler Algier on a running back needy zero running back team on the show. And then we even got a little bit of, I think he's going to keep rising. We got I don't remember
Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier. That Week 17 game is done in about 97. It's done in about 97 minutes.
Quicker than this show.
Guys.
This show is going to take longer.
Trading blows.
Than that. Yeah, exactly. But we got some Algier hype about no, he's still going to have a big role. Like, Bijan's the man. We expect that. But I think people are treating Algier as if he is a stone zero unless Bijan gets hurt. And obviously the upside case is Bijan gets hurt. But football's just more nuanced than that. Like, he's going to play 25, 30% of the snaps. Who knows? And he's not going to score 0 fantasy points even while Bijan is playing. And we drafted Blake Corum. We draft a lot of other backups or committee backfields higher than Tyler Algier, and the Falcons are one of the offenses I'm most excited about this year. So, and I know he's good. I'm pretty damn confident Tyler Algier is good at football. So I get all of the different things I'm looking for in a pick at a cheaper price than some of those other running backs.
Jake, they are allowed to pass the ball, but they won't. I promise you, this football they'll pass a little bit in the first half. There will be none in the second half. All right, I was going to say we should just take Dalton Schultz because he's an ADP faller. What are you thinking here?
Ooh, I hate this range so much.
I was going to say a little bit. I like taking Hawkinson on these teams.
I'm down for Hawk.
We've got an elite tight end in McBride, and the news on Hawkinson sounds like he's coming back week 7. They go to London in week 5. They come back and have their bye. So I think that week 7 will be JJ McCarthy, week 1, and Hawkinson will be back. And hopefully, based on my reading of the situation, I should pull it up. What happened this morning, there was a report coming off. There's a report that came out about Jordan Addison apparently has like already pled like no contest to this DUI thing. So the 3-game suspension might be literally just the first 3 games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that when McCarthy starts in week 7, the full offense is basically just there.
Yeah, the Vikings are super fascinating. I mean, we talked about Justin Jefferson just super quickly at the top, and maybe this will give me the motivation to move him ahead of Jamar Chase, but there's like everything falls together with the Vikings. I think Sam Darnold is better than people give him credit for, and if it goes really poorly and JJ McCarthy does get in there, that's like maybe a little bit concerning for these guys. But like, how many times are we going to do this Vikings quarterback FUD thing and it never matters? Like Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, like
Nick
pick
Mullins.
a quarter. Like Nick Mullins, I mentioned insurance salesman before. Like that dude should be selling insurance, not playing NFL football, and he's thrown for 425 yards or whatever on the Vikings, and he was the chalk. You remember this, I'm sure. That DFS slate, I can't remember who they were playing. Nick Mullins was the cash
412 yards
and threw for 400 yards on the Vikings. It's not that I don't care about the quarterback play with the Vikings, but I'm treating it as though I don't care and just dealing with it. And so you get a discount on Hawk because of the injury. We say that week 17 is all that matters. And then an elite tight end is going to miss 6 weeks. And we're like, well, we can't draft him. We can't draft him. And then we're worried about Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver on the absolute planet. And Aaron Jones is good. Ty Chandler is good. The whole offense has good football players on it, and nobody wants to draft him because of the Hawks injury and the quarterback stuff. And so I'm just leaning into the Vikings, man. I think that they're from Jefferson all the way down, they're a smash.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I think McCarthy will probably play pretty well, honestly. Like I think the ball knowers were pretty into him. And the stats guys, I mean, I guess it depends on how much you weight the context that he was in Michigan, but he was like elite on 3rd downs. The issue with him was that he basically just never had to play 4th quarters. He had zero games with 45 dropbacks or more. The one game where he had to try, they won. It was the one game against TCU that he had to drop back and pass, and he did great. He smashed in that game. Ty Vincent, I can't explain the underdog rakeback program. I think it's 10% if you do 150. If you get to 500 drafts, you get 25% rakeback. If you do 1,000 drafts, you get 50% rakeback.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. If you go to at underdog drafts on Twitter, I believe it's there. I believe it is their pinned tweet. All right, we are back up. I think we are. We probably don't need a quarterback here. We could probably just wait. We could take May or Nix or whoever. Running back is fairly flat. Like I don't think there's a big difference between these guys and like Estime and Allen. Wide receiver is, you want to take Mims?
Yeah, I'm in on Mims. I'm trying to get a little bit more of him.
Yeah, I wanted to take Michael Wilson on this team, but he is gone.
I like Michael Wilson, actually. I'm not like convincing myself he's going to be a superstar, but we're paying for routes on guys like Demarcus Robinson and all that kind of stuff.
I apparently got this backwards. Michigan lost to TCU, but he still played good in the game. He still played good in the game, though, is the point. Speaking
of, there's a football player from TCU on the board here that we need to discuss, because I'm just curious are you on the I'm totally out on Kendre Miller or what? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't really like Kendre Miller before. I guess I got 7% of him. He's fine. I'm a Taysom, bro. I am a Taysom through and through, bro. I think he's fine.
Underdog screwed you there then.
Yeah, they did. Quarterback. So this is my deal. This is my deal with Kendre is like, I kind of hate taking him right now because if I want to get more of him, I can later. I definitely prefer Vidal, like especially for this team where we kind of have. I mean, we have our early season production locked up right here with Mostert and Robinson.
I really freaking hate this. Is a fine fall, so I'm fine. I'm fine with it. But you want to talk about worried? Aren't you worried that we're taking the sixth round rookie?
I'm
terrified.
I'm worried. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna
just do it. Yes. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. So we just took Mims and McMillan. Those are two of these like 15th, 16th, 17th round wide receivers that I'm trying to really up my exposure to before they specifically McMillan. I think is going to catch some real steam because he's Mims is has a little bit of the Broncos stink on him, and then it's his second year. McMillan is a rookie, and Bucks are a little bit more positively viewed, and they will not shut up about how awesome Jalen McMillan looks in camp. So I liked him before, but I think he's going to rise.
Yeah, I've got like I've got like 70% of him in the big board. Dodge Foreman, I am confirming he just got carted off the field per Ari Kozlow. Went down during a punt drill where he was tended to by trainers before the cart was brought out. Now, you got to remember, they do literally bring the cart out for everyone in training camp. Roman Wilson just had the cart. Yeah, Roman Wilson. Remember the offseason where Tyreek had the cart come out for him, or it was Kelsey. Yeah. It was Kelsey had the cart come out for him, and everyone freaked out, and he was fine. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything yet, but also there was a chance that Foreman was not going to make the team anyways. This is real. You gotta know the cap minutia. But Nyheim Hines is getting paid a ton, and apparently Bullock is saying he's immobilized on the board. So maybe
that's correct.
I'm reading it. Maybe don't take Don Foreman. What brutal career for Donta Foreman. He was like a really good player at Texas.
He's good.
Yeah,
at football.
He is good. And tore his Achilles. Actually, he's like the one guy when you want to have optimism about, what Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, you always say, you always say he was the guy. He was good in Carolina. I'm legit worried about Franklin. And the reason why I'm legit worried about Franklin is I think Mims is better than him anyway. And so if the coaching staff thinks that, and Sean Payton loves to play these Nepo baby veterans, like he's got Lil Jordan Humphrey and Josh Reynolds and Brandon Johnson on the roster. I'm legit worried about Franklin, and I have a bunch of Franklin, so it's like actually reason for me to worry. And I don't have very much Marvin Mims. I've only got 7.2% Mims. I'm almost sure I've got more Franklin than that. And Stephen Rooney, you're right. Foreman is definitely better than Zach Moss. Like
way better runner. That's for damn sure. Foreman's like a legit good running back, like legit good. Yes. He did it last year. He did it for a month last year on the Bears. Like he's a good football player. It's sad to see. Yeah. Tariq Cohen also just retired.
Yeah.
Schefter announced he was trying to come back from his injury. Man, NFL brutal. Game, but
chews you up, spits you out.
You know who else? I can't. Somebody mentioned this name, not for the Broncos, but somebody mentioned this name in our Discord a week ago or so. And as the Josh Reynolds hype keeps building and my stomach keeps turning, like Michael Thomas is a free agent. You know that, right? And
he's gonna be a Viking. I think we should take Braylon Allen here.
Yes, I'm in on
because
Braylon.
we can. I clicked too soon on McMillan, but Baker and Kyler share bye week.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. That's okay. Got it. Braylon. Who are our wide receivers again? I just want to look at what our
we've got Tyreek, Olave, Kupp, Rice, Hopkins, Mims, McMillan. So we've got Levis is gone.
Nix. Yeah,
so we've got Nix. We've got Nix. We've got Carr. I don't know if Carr's going to be I don't know if Carr's going to be starting by week 11.
Please no. Yeah. Let's see if Nix. I'd rather take Nix in round 17 than draft Derek Carr. Does that make sense?
I mean, Carr has the advantage of he gets to play in a dome, and he's like a proven NFL quarterback in the sense that he can play. I'm just going to take Nix and get it out of the way. Then we can have the luxury of whatever we want to do with the last pick.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is now we have some flexibility.
Nix runs Nix is like he's got the he's the devil we don't know, and Derek Carr is the devil that we do know, and I'm not that fond of him. This is where we're at in best ball summer on August 1st. Bo Melton, you can't even fucking wait to get Bo Melton in the 18th round. You got to take Bo Melton in round 17. And you know what? What is this guy? Big Kev 1979. You know ball, dude. Bo Melton has been with the
100%.
first team offense. He's been with the first team offense all of training camp. And we can't even get Yoshi, dude. We can't even get Yoshi in round 18. He goes in round 17.
This is a ball knowers draft. Bo Melton, Yoshi, Theo's getting the hype as the starting tight end with the Giants. Man, this is rough. Dortch in the 16th. Dortch in the 16th round.
Well, that's because this guy is in the draft. This guy in the 11 hole is in the chat. He knows. Yeah, there's a chance the Carr doesn't finish the season for multiple reasons. He's got injury guarantees in his contract. They drafted a 4th round quarterback who I actually think is it's my worst opinion of all time. I think there's still like kind of a quarterback in there somewhere with Rattler. And the Saints are gonna stink. They're gonna win 7 games. Carr gets injured every year. It's just I don't know. It's no one. I don't think Derek Carr is a horrible quarterback, but I'm just not making him a big part of my draft strategy.
He's also not a difference maker. He's in the Russell
Dennis
Wilson
Allen
or whatever. Oh,
does
God.
have
yes.
He leads the market in first coach to be fired.
Bet that one. There is no bigger lame duck than Dennis Allen. The franchise is a disaster. They're only keeping him because they have no money. They're a poverty franchise. He probably would have been fired already and they would have started over, but they kicked the can down the road so many times that like they can't afford to pay more money for anything. Like all these guys. If the Saints were in a different division, we would all be talking about Derek Carr as like you cannot draft him because they are going to be out of the playoffs by week 8 or whatever because the roster stinks, they stink, the coaching stinks, everything is bad about the Saints. It's just the division. You're set, like you mentioned, 7 wins. You'll be in the playoff hunt probably in that division unless the Bucks or Falcons just really light it up. So that's the only saving grace for Derek Carr. But I don't want to draft a guy who's literally never going to run, doesn't really throw the ball downfield on a bad team just because like he could be playing later in the season. That's why I wanted to take Nix on this team.
For sure. All right. We are up. What do you want to do? I think you could make an argument for literally any position here. A third quarterback protecting, another running back because we have 6 kind of shitty ones.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, tight end. What do you want to do?
What's running? I like to take a running back on these teams. Actually, I've been taking Shipley.
He's not like Shipley chasing.
Yeah. He's not my favorite prospect. I actually like kind of don't love him, but the draft capital was fair. And if I just close my eyes and ignore the fact that he lost his job to Phil Maffa down the stretch of his career at Clemson and got worse every year, he's probably the backup to Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. And like, I draft other players who we got to squint to see it. If Saquon Barkley goes down and he's an older running back, right? Everybody makes the case for these early running backs. It's like, they're going to get all the touches. They're really good. They're on a good offense. It's like, well, then the backup is in a pretty good situation too. And when I can get them in the last round, especially if it's a rookie who catches passes, I'm into it. So I've come around a little bit on Will Shipley.
Oh man. I didn't label any of these ones. This is not going to be good because some of those were definitely on stream. That is not great. Beimfohr 0RB. This one, okay. It's impossible to tell. All right, view the full draft. 11 hole. You will for sure get sauce. Let me go through our team first. Then we will sauce you efficiently. All right, we did true 0RB. Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Cooper Kupp, Trey McBride, Rashee Rice, DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray at 75. So we don't select our first running back until 94. Then we piss green. Mostert, I would have really preferred Mostert to be Ramondre Stevenson, who went 3 picks before. That does suck a little bit. Mostert, Brian Robinson, who's just like your classic 0RB, like score me 9 touchdowns, please. Corum is your handcuff contingent guy. Charbonnet is He can get you 8.2 points some weeks, but might be the guy eventually. Algier, premium tier handcuff. Hawkinson, so we're done with 2 tight ends. We take Mims and we take McMillan to set up our stacks. Me not realizing that McMillan didn't work for our stack because Baker Mayfield and Kyler share the bye week. Braylon Allen, and then end with Will Shipley to get to 7 running backs, and Bo Nix, Marvin Mims as the secondary stack. I mean, minor edges here. I would have rather had like Lauby than Shipley. I would have rather had Ramondre than Brian Robinson. I would have rather had literally any of the 6 running backs who went before: Corum, Singletary, Javonte, Brown, Moss, Spears, Pollard, any of those guys. But the room didn't go your way. So sometimes it doesn't.
And you got to get a little comfortable with that if you're drafting. You're obviously drafting hundreds of teams or thousands of teams. So long as these guys are in your player pool, you kind of just like the point is, I'm going to draft a ton of these. They're in my pool. I'm going to shake them all up into a bunch of different lineups and then spit it out and kind of see how the results play out. So long as they're player targets for you, it's not my dream running back room, or like neither of us would say this is the perfect team, but like it can win. Like it's so easy for this to happen. I always kind of talk about how last year, my best team, if you look back on it, it wasn't that good. Even when you look with the results, it wasn't that good. But like my first running back was Antonio Gibson, and I didn't really hit on running backs. It was a really extreme 0 running back team, and I didn't even really hit on the running backs, but like I had Kyron on it and he saved me. And I was just using Kyron and Chuba like every single week. And you just got to navigate this through like getting lucky a little bit. So just build the right structure, kind of put your player takes over the top of it. And I think it's totally fine. You're muted. You're muted.
Classic. John D, you're on the clock in your dynasty rookie draft. I think you go Ray Davis. I think you go Ray Davis, 1 quarterback over Vidal. I mean, I think Ray Davis and Vidal kind of have the same ability to give you stats this year. And Vidal, every Chargers running back is going to be replaced next offseason. I think Edwards, Dobbins, Spiller, Patterson, Vidal, they're all going to be gone. They're going to draft a running back very early, or they're going to sign a premium free agent almost 100%. All right, we got to do the 11-hole sauce here. Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. I mean, I think that start is just as common as the Gibbs London. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I think it's fine. What do you think about the Kelsey Mahomes 3-4? I think it's very strong.
Yeah. How into Kelsey are you? I get this. On one hand, he's Travis Kelsey in the third round. I can get him with Mahomes. I can get him with whatever I want to do. I can move him around the board, which seems crazy, like at face value. But then the other part of me is like, he is getting older. They did bring in these other weapons that I really like, and Rashi's probably not getting suspended. And like they kind of eased back a little bit on the regular season usage for Travis Kelsey, which is totally fine. Like he was still okay for fantasy. But I compare too much stuff to DFS, but I think about it like, was there ever a week where I was like, I got to play Travis Kelsey on DraftKings? And it was like, absolutely not. Like I'm never.
No, the one week, the Chargers week.
Chargers. Yeah, you're right. But I think that's my struggle is really nitpicky. Like if Travis Kelsey is just still Travis Kelsey and the Chiefs are as good as I think that they're going to be, because I think they're going to be absolutely unbelievable. That's
the thing. That's why you want Kelsey. Is I think he might even, like Jake is saying, what if he hits the age cliff? I mean, I think he could hit the age cliff and still score 11 touchdowns. And then the other thing on top of that is that tight ends can play a little bit less. It's obviously truly you have to be truly generational for this to be true. But like, go look at like Antonio Gates's and Tony Gonzalez
on the Falcons.
Their final. Tony Gonzalez was the tight end 1 at age 37 in his final season, and then he just retired. He had 900 yards and 6 touchdowns at 37, and then he just retired. He said, "That's it, I'm done." So my worry, my aren't you worried on Kelsey is at like a 2. Like really, I'm not worried. I think he will have fewer yards and receptions in the aggregate, but I think he could score like 14 touchdowns. So I'm not sweating him at all. Worthy at 59, Ball. This is where you lose me a little bit. I think you got panicked. I think you looked at your team and you got panicked about not having running backs. I think you're good with Cook. I don't think you need Brooks here. I mean, I know he probably was the highest ranked guy in your queue and you don't really want to take Cortland Sutton. So maybe that's a reason not to take Warren. Maybe instead of Warren, you do Bowers or something. Like, I just think this run right here, I'm not that into it. Shaheed is fine. Chase Brown is fine. Downs is fine.
I like the players.
Yeah, I think I was trying to be mean to you for the sauce. I mean,
I don't like McLaughlin. I don't, and specifically on this team, I think I don't.
On this team, yeah.
I wouldn't
as your running back 5 when you've already got a bunch of. We could have taken McLaughlin. Because the thing with McLaughlin is like his best case scenario is he somehow runs hot on touchdowns on a team that might be the 27th best offense in football. It doesn't seem like a very good bet. I honestly, I don't really like taking Conklin either. No. And the Bryce Young Leggett, of all 32 quarterbacks with their number 1 wide receiver, is Bryce Young Leggett the least likely to ship $1.5 million?
Yes, absolutely. Did we not watch it last year? I'm, me. I try to like sort of, despite the fact that like I'm obsessed with like football and digging into like the real, not that I know ball, but like digging into the ball knowing aspects of football. I try to separate myself from it a little bit and think from a best ball lens, being like I believe it or not, I don't think Sam Howell is a very good NFL quarterback, but I drafted him a million times last year because of the fantasy lens of things. And the offense was cheap, whatever. So I understand being like, Dave Canales is going to fix Bryce Young and Xavier Leggett is a rookie. Like, I get the whole idea. I can't shake the fact that I never was into Bryce, and I'm also not into Leggett really, and I'm not a huge Deontay Johnson fan. And it's like, it's just this, like, it's throwing a bunch of shit at the wall on this offense and trying to pretend like, when I throw a bunch of shit at it, it's prettier now than the one turd I was looking at, before. I just don't really love it. I get it, but I'm not really doing the Panthers thing. I would rather do Fields. I would rather do Knicks. I'm doing some Darnold and just saying like, what if the Vikings win games and McCarthy doesn't get in there? Obviously May, like I just, that's just my bias. But I just like those guys better, Levis, whatever. There's Daniel Jones. What if the Giants revert back to 2 years ago? I just like so many of those other guys over Bryce Young.
There's just no way Bryce Young is going to run, and I just think he's too small. It just boils down to I think
he's like between you and I size. He's like, which is I'm not that big either.
There's like, and that's little. It's all like Canales hopium, and I don't know, maybe it works. Like, far be it for me. Bryce Young has accomplished a lot in his life, far more than I ever will. He's rich. He like shout out to him. But I just think a Xavier Leggett, Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, Jonathan Mingo, Jatavian Sanders, skill position. It's not great. And he did have.
It's the island of fucking misfit toys, dude. It's all offense. That's all it is.
Correct. All right. I closed my tab on accident. Let's go ahead and hop in to another one. I need to. We'll fire up a pick'em entry after this as well.
Nice.
We got to get a pick'em entry for the preseason game for Hall of Fame.
Oh God, I haven't looked. Jawar Jordan overs. There you go.
See, but that's bad. If you're a Jawar Jordan bull, you do not want his overs to hit. John Stepp, this is the difference between Jordan Love and Bryce Young. The first is Jordan Love is a big man. I believe he is 6'4", 220 pounds. He's a big guy. The other thing is he was nurtured. Jordan Love was nurtured. Look at the guys who Jordan Love gets to throw to. Like, just a bunch of guys who are awesome. That stuff matters so much. Like, look at what's happened to Sam Darnold. I think everyone thinks Sam Darnold could have been a good quarterback. Like Sam Darnold has the size, he's got the mobility, he's got the arm strength. He honestly is like a pretty accurate quarterback too.
Yep.
He just makes a lot of bad decisions, like kind of like Justin Fields. He makes a lot of he takes bad sacks, he throws bad interceptions, but he didn't do that at college. He didn't really take a ton of sacks. He really didn't take a ton of sacks in college. He didn't get sacked. I mean, he also played for USC. I still kind of think Sam Darnold might be good, but
I do.
It probably won't happen for him because the key part of his development in the NFL, he was throwing to like idiots and behind this terrible offensive line and an idiot offensive coordinator. It was just not gonna happen for him. And I think we might already be look, this is the thing that I always say with bad quarterback play. I want to be wrong when I'm hating on a quarterback because the most fun way for fantasy football to exist, you go with Jefferson?
Yeah.
Okay. The most fun thing for fantasy football to exist is for all 32 teams to have a great quarterback. Imagine how fun fantasy football would be if Patrick Mahomes got to be all-time quarterback or Josh Allen got to be all-time quarterback. Like the thing that sucks the most about fantasy football is having to deal with Bo Nix and Bryce Young and Derek Carr and Daniel Jones. Like that sucks. No one wants that. So if I'm ever being mean to your favorite team or your favorite quarterback, just like, please know I would love to be wrong.
Not to change the conversation as I change the conversation. My two favorite Sam Darnold trivia type things in his last New York Jets season. Okay, before he got traded or cut or whatever it was. Here's the leading rusher for the New York Jets was Frank Gore.
Yeah. That Frank Gore. The one you're thinking of. Yeah.
Yes. He was 37. I'm not fucking kidding you. He was 37 years old. Also, someone got 19 carries. It was Le'Veon Bell was on that team. The second leading rusher was LaMichael Pirine. The leading receiver for the Jets in that final season, Jamison Crowder.
I was gonna say I was like trying to go into my bag and be like, who
699 Jamison Crowder yards on the New York Jets. The most games played at wide. Now Crowder was actually like not horrible, but he's like you would love him to be your third wide receiver, not your first wide receiver. Braxton Berrios, Brashad Perriman, Josh Malone.
Josh Malone showed up on a RotoViz comp I ran the other day, and I couldn't place him, and now I know.
Chris Herndon, remember Chris Herndon?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God!
Where's he in? Where's he in? Where's he in Harditz? Where is he?
I pissed away so much money on Chris Herndon. Shout out back to the draft days. I think this was in the draft days. Denzel Mims, right? Jeff Smith. Like this was that offense. Then he goes to Carolina. And in his first season with Carolina, this is my favorite Sam Darnold stat. Through 4 weeks of his first year starting for the Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold was leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns. And I drafted the shit out of him in baseball in that year. And you want to talk about I was Petey Pablo, like victory lapping like crazy after the first month. Last round, Sam Darnold. Clearly, it was all downhill from there. But I think there's enough reason to believe that he's not like he's not Tyson Bagent or whatever. And on the Minnesota Vikings, man, like so long as you're not Tyson Bagent, you can probably be all right.
Tyson Bagent would be all right. The only quarterback who I've ever seen.
What's the cutoff?
It's Jaron Hall. Jaron Hall is the only quarterback I've ever seen fail in the West Coast cheating Shanahan, McVay, like
O'Connell offense, yeah.
O'Connell, yeah. I'm trying to think of the Rams had some dust ball quarterback come in 2 years ago and Stafford got injured and he kind of held it together and I can't really remember who it is. We are about to get an amazing pick right here. Literally whoever we want. Waddle goes. We took Olave last time. You want to do Ayuk or Adams?
Let's do Devontae. I like Devontae actually.
Yep. I had to move him down in my rankings because ADP was moving against me so hard. Where I was like going to get 100% of him. I had him at 14 and I moved him I moved him down to 18 just because I was like literally going to get 100% of him.
He's 14 for me. I keep a lot of my ranks.
That was it. It was
John
John
Wolford.
Wolford. Yeah.
Yes.
And they always kind of play good in the preseason too, which is funny. Like you'd think they'd be terrible, but yeah, Wolford. Let's see here. Can I pull up some of his starts? John Wolford started for the Rams in week 17 2 years ago. He had 6 YPA. He didn't throw a touchdown in that game. And then he started a game against Arizona last year. I mean, okay, he kind of stunk. All right, never mind. I'm gonna take this one back. He couldn't make John Wolford good.
So John Wolford, but that's the thing. Think about that.
That's the line. John Wolford is the line. Cup, Metcalf, Moore.
Let's do Metcalf. We did Cup last time. Let's do Metcalf.
All right,
I know this is not really a profound decision making. We took the other guy, but it's a little more fun to mix it up.
Yeah, that's fine. I got no issue with it.
Are you into Seattle? Are you into Seattle with Ryan Grubb? I mean,
I kind of have been out on them because I sort of just felt the vibe that at some point Sam Howell would be in here, but I don't know. All the reports
he's been awful in camp.
Yeah, he's been awful, and Geno has been very good. Like all the reports, like Geno is great, and there definitely is something to. Last year was just like a little bit of a lost year for the Seahawks. They were, it's like last year Pete Carroll. Maybe he's kind of losing the locker room a little bit. Like I mean, obviously I don't know, but just like. And now they have a new coach who everyone seems excited about. Grubb, turned Michael Penix Jr. from a guy with no ACLs into a potential Heisman guy. Like a lot of positive stuff going on there for Grubb. So,
dude,
yeah,
Penix,
I need to start buying more.
I'm super high on Grubb. My only thing that scares me is the offensive line looks to be like maybe the worst in the league. It's bottom 5 probably from a talent. Things change. We're not always accurate on those things, but I do trust who's the ETR guy that does the offensive line rankings. Brandon Thorne. He is the best in the biz. So I've been thinking about subscribing to his newsletter, by the way, that just to read the you want to talk about ball knowing. Let's learn some defensive tackles names to learn some ball, but he's really concerned about the Seattle offensive line. And so that's like my only drawback. But like I was buying Seattle last year. I still think the 3 wide receivers are good. I still think Geno is a pretty competent, like we're talking about the Derek Carrs and all that kind of stuff. Like I think Geno's better than that tier of quarterbacks. Still super. I think Easy said it in the chat. Still super accurate even last year. Metcalf is good. I'm still kind of hopeful for JSN. I still am holding a keeping a candle on for Noah Fant. Right, like I just think everything really fits.
I am more than keeping a candle on for Noah Fant. I got full best ball cabal on Noah Fant. It's just like just need him to run 80. I just need him to run 82% of the routes. Yeah, and if he does that, it'll be fine. The thing is I actually don't end up with a ton of Metcalf because I've got him ranked below Cup, and I am biased towards DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. So I just end up with a ton of those guys. So I like getting a little bit of.
I just flatten those guys out a little bit and move them around. Just the last thing on Seattle
Penix was good at Indiana. I mean, if we really want to get into the weeds, but he could not stay healthy at Indiana.
Yeah. Peyton Ramsey was just as good as Michael Penix at Indiana.
I'm looking this up. He also. Grubb was his offensive coordinator. Was it Grubb or was he with DeBauer at Indiana? He came with. I don't remember. Yeah. I don't remember which way it was, but he came with whichever guy. I don't remember. Which
Tom Allen. Tom Allen was the head coach. They went 2-10 in his last year at Indiana. But I mean, it's not really his fault. He missed so much time. But
this is so brutal. We were about to get 4.9 Kelsey, and then he went. That's so fucking annoying. I think on this one, because we don't like any of the quarterback, we're not jamming. I think we should take Mahomes and then take any Chiefs wide receiver that comes.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah.
Golly, that was this guy TM Longacre is about to have a well, we actually just ruined his team. He was about to. He is
That would have been
cursing us.
sick.
That would have been sick. But he's set up really sick regardless because he can take Burrow or Tua. That's the earliest I've seen Rashee Rice go. Let me tell you that. That is the earliest. Pick 46 Rashee Rice. That's the earliest I've seen it happen.
What do you do with those situations where he was I think you and I talked about this a few years ago.
Darrell Henderson.
It was the Darrell Henderson year. Rashee isn't Darrell Henderson. There's a stark difference between going from the 14th round to the 4th than what Rashee has done. But what are you doing with somebody like him, especially you like the Chiefs? Like the 4th round, 4th, 5th. He's certainly going in the 5th a lot now. We used to get him in the 7th or the 8th. Are you still buying him and just like dealing with it, or do you?
Yeah, because he should be like a 2nd round pick probably,
or like took him whatever. In the 2nd in the big board. Yeah.
The comp that makes the most sense for him is if you want to be a bull is St. Brown, where he turns it on at the end of the season. He turned it on earlier before St. Brown, but kind of had a weird target profile. Was a weird prospect. Like St. Brown was a weird prospect, and Rashee Rice was a crazy weird prospect because he played outside and then got transitioned to being a slot wide receiver.
I'm worthy over Hollywood.
I got no issue with that. I mean, I think they're both very good picks. So yeah, I'm gonna steam as far up as Rashee goes. I will keep taking him.
Have you ever seen a transition, like a profile like he was a straight up outside kind of, target hog, but also like it wasn't like we view him as he's like Julian Edelman in his NFL profile.
He's
at
6'2",
SMU. He was not that.
Yeah.
He was not that. He was an outside and in like fully diverse. I'm not saying he was perfect. He wasn't like my favorite prospect, but like it wasn't. We weren't pigeonholed. He's not Malik Washington. Like he wasn't that kind of a prospect.
I think people an idea.
People have a view of him that's wrong.
These are like his. Here, let me put a draft. And maybe
do you just have help. This but permanently up? Do you have this permanently up?
Pretty much. I got it. I have it bookmarked because we do this stuff. We do this stuff all the time on the show. All these guys, other than Corley and Wheaton, are outside players. Taylor was an outside player. Huff was an outside player.
Oh,
Shepard, another weirdo guy like that, where you'd think he was an outside guy in college and then moved to the slot. You got to be a real OG to remember Terrence Williams on the Dallas Cowboys.
And Muhammad Massaquoi. Oh my God, I was in high school when that was going on. Jesus.
Yeah. Zay Jones, outside guy. Latimer, outside guy. These are all outside. These are all outside guys. And this is the key point. It's really not a massive disadvantage because you draft teams, not exposures. So sure, there are going to be some teams that were drafted in May that have Rashee Rice at pick 97, and they have a way better 2v2 than you. But that's just going to be true. That's just going to be true of the field in general. There are just going to be teams that have you. There are teams that exist right now from May and June that have like 200 cumulative closing line value spots of ADP or something. Like they've got you completely dominated. And I just think it's too big of a contest and too insane a variance to really sweat that. Now, if it's something like Bijan Robinson tears his ACL and the Falcons don't do anything at running back and they just say Algier, like maybe you don't take Algier in the 2nd round because you're too dominated. But this is not that. This is not that.
It's a 2v2, and even if you're a dog in a 2v2, we're talking about so the 4th is a little rich. I brought it up because I think the 4th the 4th is just like maybe a rich price overall, but we can debate that, of course. But like the 7th round wide receivers versus the 5th round wide receivers, like who gives a shit, man? You're talking about Jaden Reed versus JSN. Can JSN outscore Jaden Reed on any given day? Yes, of course he can. And then there's the trickle down, effect of things like Easy saying, like early teams, like we can't gain more information and then back off the guys who are now better because we got the more info. Like that's the whole fucking point of drafting now is to capitalize on the information.
Man, this guy, he's gonna do it again. This guy, Yep. All right.
Yep.
Great.
I
I don't
I would
care
still
really.
take Watson, I think, unless you want to set up the Seattle
No.
thing. But
Yeah. So this is the way Liam drafts. Liam's like almost like not a player take drafter. Like Liam is just like super big on the game theory. Like he does the micro edges. And like obviously shout out to him. He's won a lot of money. So like I'm not even saying I know better than Liam. I'm saying that this is my opinion and this is how I will be treating Rashee Rice. Yeah, Liam is like very market based, game theory based. He's like, well, why would I want to set up a team knowingly set up a thing where I can't have the best version of this team? Just
well,
like
because
I
you
don't know,
can.
it's valid.
I mean, it's a valid take in a vacuum, but it's just not totally true. That like, if you ignored a riser, let's just use the Kyron and Puka example from last year. Just because a guy was going, let's say Rashee Rice happened last year. He was in the 7th in May, and you said, I'm never going to draft Rashee again now because he's going in the 5th. You're never going to have him with Kyron and Puka. You're never going to have him with, whatever late round guy pops up because you're only focused in on him. You can be choosier. I think I'm down for JSN actually here to set up a little Seattle secondary.
I think we should take James Conner.
Oh, I love James Conner. So yes.
Well, James Conner or Aaron Jones.
Let's do Conner because we have Jefferson. And I know that feels counterintuitive to say don't take the Viking, but I kind of don't always love taking the lead running. It's not that they can't get there in the same week, but my first round wide receiver, I kind of just want him to be the man, and a different running back to have their big game at the same time as them. So I'm not taking Aaron Jones with Jefferson, but when I'm Conner and Jones are like the same, I would prefer Conner.
Yes. I'm trying to get more of him. So that works. And I don't love that the Vikings have the week 6 bye week. So week 6 we would have our stack out and our first round pick out. So
I don't even ever think about that. I know I understand that I'm going to lose some teams to that, but
last year BBM winner took Laporta in the 11th, the 7th rounds earlier than opening May, because a lot of the teams in May are going to be dog shit. The teams in May are going to be drafting. I bet there were a lot of Laporta Trey Lance teams in Best Ball Mania 4.
100%.
Yeah. Guy won BBM4 with Madison at 62. He was like they're. That's why you say, we draft teams, not exposures. Like you can have a cool best ball explorer, graph or whatever, where you've got infinite CLV. Oh no. Sion Vaki hurt his shoulder, dude. This is the first bad news for a player that I've taken a stance on yet this offseason, that Sion Vaki has a shoulder injury.
What do you mean taking a stance on Sion Vaki?
Do you not know about the legend? I am the foremost Sion Vaki drafter on Underdog.
Are you in these IDP best ball tournaments?
Dude, he's practicing with the running backs, man. He's
gonna get a lot of special teams tackles.
It's the new kickoff rule. It's gonna keep him active. How much Vaki? I mean, I'm memeing. I probably have like 5 teams of Sion Vaki across all of best ball.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. All right. So we're in a little bit of a weird spot with this team. I would have loved to have gotten one of our Steelers running backs on the way back, but they're both gone. Warren
Freiermuth,
Najee went. Freiermuth, this team.
Freiermuth makes sense as well. A lot of Mahomes teams have Kelsey, so if you use Freiermuth, you use Worthy or Hollywood or Rice or something instead, and bring Freiermuth back on the other side. It's kind of a little unique.
Ryan, there is a huge strategy difference between BBM and Eliminator. Eliminator, you want to be doing like the most condom ass. You want to be like having big Najee Harris and Evan Ingram and Brock Purdy bags, in the Eliminator, and you don't want to have like any of like Xavier Worthy would be a pretty bad Eliminator pick. I think we smashed the Brock Bowers button.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Eliminator. Like think of Eliminator like literally like the reverse of how you think about Best Ball Mania. Like Best Ball Mania, you're like, I'm gonna have 75 dead teams in this contest because I'm gonna try and make weird shit happen. You should have 0 dead teams in the Eliminator. It's very controllable by you, the drafter, to not have any dead teams. You need to pay close attention to bye weeks. You need to you're not sweating correlation like at all, really. Which is why I think I've done like 3 Eliminator teams ever. Like it's not a contest I love.
I love it. I agree with a large amount of what you said. I think that there's some fun little subtleties about Eliminator that I think everybody views it as just make this team not fail. And as the season goes, in the first couple of weeks, that's probably true. As the season goes on, it's a lot tougher than people give it credit for. And so you're going to, and then there's the player crossover, right? By week 8, week 10 or whatever, whoever this year's Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua are going to be a lot more of those teams. And so you need like some differentiation. You need your structures need to be a little bit different, definitely bye week stuff. But I think it's a fun tournament. I won't go on about it, but Gretch and I did a fun video
Swift,
talking
right?
Eliminator. Yes, on Swift, especially with Metcalf.
All right, yeah, we're doing the NFC North hack where the NFC North
Swift
teams
in the
like
ninth.
Yeah. They all kind of play off. I forget the exact scheduling, but Seattle and the NFC North teams are a hack. Someone in chat would know better. Would know better than me.
They are, yeah.
That worked out pretty nice. Getting Swift past ADP, Connor ahead of ADP. Swift and Connor, that's gotta be a pretty uncommon running back room. Kareem Hunt is not gonna go back to they feel fine with Ford, Hines, and Strong. People forget Pierre Strong.
Pierre Strong was running ahead of Foreman a lot of camp already. We can be upset about that if we drafted Foreman, but I don't think that they care that much.
I look, this could make sense to me. I mean, what do I know? I have not thought about the Eliminator hardly at all. So don't listen to me. Don't listen to me at all.
I will just say, Gretch and I recorded like a 2-hour video on the Eliminator. It's on the Spike Week YouTube. You can listen to Gretch and I riff on it there. We kind of addressed a lot of both of you certainly need some level of floor, right? You can't draft 18 rookies. You can't draft a bunch of overlapping buys. There's certain things that you definitely need to be doing. But I do think the idea that, I need to draft a bunch of Zekes and Gus Edwards and, those kind of guys is also a little overstated. So it's a fun format. I don't have it solved, but I'm trying to max it. I'm like, I got a lot of catching up to do. Like maybe 80 or 90 in, but I think it's a really, really fun format. We'll see how it goes. But the coolest part about it, I don't know if it's cool. It's viewed as like, I just need to keep surviving. And it's the second hardest tournament to make the final on Underdog thus far, other than Best Ball Mania. Like basically by like week 8, just assume all your teams are dead. Like, because you're going to get like it was like 3 or 4% to week 8 is like the general rough
That's
math.
So gnarly.
It's nuts. It feels just like, I just got to finish in the top half every week. That shouldn't be that hard. And then you're like, well, when you run the math, you're like week 8, all your teams, all your teams are gone.
I will max the DK Millie. I'm not gonna max drafters. I
really?
I don't have enough hours in the day, man. I don't have enough hours in the day. I guess I could auto draft it, but I probably won't. Yeah. Okay. We got one.
There's
that one guy that I really would like to get.
I would really
pretty sure we're gonna get snap called here, but
yes.
What can you do? Yeah. Oh, he took Caleb.
Yes. There we go.
All right, there we go.
Nice. This one's going better than the last draft.
Yeah, this one is going better. I guess I didn't really realize that we also have Bowers and Adams. I mean, I don't really care. Yeah. How am I getting to 1,000 drafts? Well, I maxed the slow puppy, so that gives me a lot. I'm doing the college football stuff, so that's giving me some extra teams, and I probably won't get to 1,000. I'll probably get to like 750 or 700 or something, and that's fine. If that's as far as I get, that's as far as I get. It's fine.
It's painful, man.
It is.
It's rough. I have to keep adding slows every single day just to get to where I want, and then I just make my life more miserable every single day.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's not great. I think honestly the thing that might make the most sense for us is to reach on Firemouth.
Oh yeah. What's his ADD anyway? I don't take him that much.
He's 131.
Oh.
We're at 124 right now.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back to us.
He's not coming back. Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about this. I'm totally cool with Bowers Freiermuth as a two.
Oh yeah, we can take 3 if we want to, but I'm mostly at this stage of the offseason where I've got a pretty good idea of who's going to be starting at what position. I'm pretty done with 3 quarterback, 3 tight end teams. I like to have an extra wide receiver, an extra running back.
I wasn't doing it a ton before because I was just like my general approach to really all things best ball is I'm going to draft hundreds or thousands of teams, and like I understand most of them are going to die, right? The math just says most of them are not even going to make it out. And so I'm trying to just shake all this shit up. Like I said, put it in a blender and just please, God, give me a couple of teams. Your whole season is defined by probably one team, like one team.
Probably. You'd be very lucky if it was defined by multiples.
Yeah, you're running you're running hot as the sun, if multiple teams are getting you home. So once I think about that, I'm just like, I just want to shake up all the 2 quarterback, 2 tight end builds. I'm not drafting Eric All, Theo Johnson 2 tight end teams, but like at Freiermuth Bowers, like, yeah, dude, like we spent a 9th round pick on Bowers, 8th round pick on Bowers, like, that plus Freiermuth, they're starting tight ends in the NFL, and they're probably both pretty talented. So just deal with it. You know what I mean? Like Noah Fant, because the other thing about adding a Noah Fant or a Juwan Johnson or something to this team is you lose. Like we're not awesome at running back, right? We're like fine. We're treading water at running back, but we probably need more bullets at running back. And so I prefer to default to like the positions that can fill more roster spots on my team, and that's running back and that's wide receiver.
It's too late in the game for them to launch another 150 max contest. Maybe they would do it. Well, they have that. It's weekly winners. I mean, that's your $10 150 max contest. And I think they like offering those different style of games. That was one of their big initiatives this year, was having all the different types of games. And I don't think they're going to do another Ball Mania clone in that fashion. All right.
Yeah, we'll see how
about back up.
I would love another. There's another. Well, I guess I haven't been drafting Jerome Ford. Ty Chandler is my preferred pick and running back here in this
definitely
range.
We skipped on Aaron Jones. So yeah, I think that's right.
He makes a lot. It's kind of the Corum thing we did earlier, right? We drafted Corum Cup with McBride, and now we have Jefferson, Watson, and Ty Chandler, which is fun. You don't need the quarterbacks if you don't want them on those kind of teams. It's like the Raiders thing. Stacking without the quarterback is like actually really powerful. It's how you get, so like Leone has written in the manifesto about stacking being really important and 3 quarterback, but the third quarterback is often really just being drug along by the stack. And if we hit on Patrick Mahomes, like I don't need that third quarterback because we're just using Patrick Mahomes most weeks.
Exactly.
Maybe our second quarterback bails out a bad week, but I don't need the third to then bail out both of those other guys. And so I can get the benefits of Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy or Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew on this team without taking the risk of that third quarterback. And then I get another running back or I get another wide receiver on that team. This is something I do. It's probably maybe the lever I pull the most out of like everything in all of best ball that I don't think other people pull enough. Once they draft like 2 guys from a team, they're like, I got to have the quarterback. And I'm like, I don't want the quarterback. I got Patrick Mahomes, buddy. I'm beating Patrick Mahomes.
If I do like the Cardinals, like I'll want Kyler with it. But like, yeah, like you got Mahomes. If Mahomes is not scoring points, if Mahomes is not scoring 23 points per week or whatever, like you're gonna lose. There's no saving that one. All right, this spot sucks.
I hate this tier
because Tua is the pick, but then we're doubled up at the buys.
We can just take Jalen Wright and like swing for a home run. We can set up a backdoor with a wide receiver.
Just Jalen right there. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
do.
Let's
we don't
just
have
do
a
that.
Miami running back. Yeah. Let's do that.
He kind of fits. We
Yeah.
got 3 early season, locked in RB1s, if you will, and then take a home run swing on him.
Yes. All right. That was fine. I probably would have taken Vidal if I was doing that one on my own, but we're balancing out the bags a little bit. I do absolutely hate that. Wait, I don't know why I said Tua. We don't have a Dolphin. I thought we did, but I do. It is miserable to me that the Vikings, the Dolphins, and the Chiefs all have the same bye week. It's miserable.
That's why you gotta remove yourself from the bye week cult and just accept a few teams. No one's saying draft them all together all the time, Davis, but just once, just try it. Just try one Patrick Mahomes and Tua team and see if you can advance it. I advanced multiple teams. Like I had a really shitty advance rate last year, like really bad. And some of the teams that I advanced were double quarterback buys or double tight end buys. I just think there's a ton of variance in it. It's not like I don't want to go in and be like, I'm drafting a shit ton of Mahomes and Tua teams, but I don't want to like box myself out of that combination solely because on all of my teams solely because I'm worried about a 0 in week 6. Eliminator. There's a good one. Never, ever in the eliminate. Don't ever do that in the eliminator.
Yeah. Don't do that in the eliminator.
In the slow puppy or whatever, like sure, once, I'll do it.
Well, I mean, you are going to gain a little bit. You are going to gain a little bit of uniqueness.
Nobody's drafting them together. Yep.
Yeah. How many Mahomes Tua teams are there together in Best Ball Mania 5? Like probably not a ton.
I can tell you how many my opponents have drafted super quickly. Mahomes.
I'm gonna guess it's one of the least frequent pairings, especially because the ADPs don't line up exactly.
Yeah,
with
1%
wide receivers. Yeah,
1%.
Yeah, Cousins and Allen is an example of where you can make it work because Cousins goes so late and the ADPs do line up for you to when you're on that side of the board. You can have London a lot of the time, and then you can get Kincaid, and then sure top it off with a Will Levis, a Bo Nix, whatever. I think all of that. All that's fine. This range of wide receiver, I kind of liked it not that long ago, round 14, 15. I mean, it's just dead now. Like Douglas, Johnston, Thielen, Demarcus Robinson, Troy Franklin, Roman Wilson. I'm not taking any of these guys.
Well, let's take one of these running backs that Vidal goes. Let's just double back for some of these. We got some late round wide receivers. I think you and I both like. So we can take Ray. We could take Ray Davis or Kendre, whatever you prefer. I know you're not into Kendre, so we can take Ray.
Ray Davis, and we can be done at be done at running back.
Now we can have some fun with some of these late wide receivers. We can talk about Yoshi. We can talk about Bo Melton. We can talk about.
Oh damn, Gino went. We might be dusted at second quarterback.
Get ready to learn Sam Darnold, buddy.
I don't know if Sam Darnold.
Week 6.
Yeah, Sam. Week 6. Shit, we can't. No, he's not going to be.
Oh yeah, he has.
They both have the week 6 bye.
Wandale's gone, right? Yeah.
Yeah. This is This is a Daniel Jones.
Make a Daniel
Hyatt
Jones
team.
Yeah. Hyatt. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, let's take the wide receiver. Let's take a wide receiver first. Let's take. Mims or Douglas. Is Rodgers still there? No, Rodgers is not there.
Damn.
Yeah, this one that went against us. That
yes,
went against. This could be a Justin Fields team.
That's what I would do actually. Probably. I know he may not start in week 6. I think let's just take Fields in the last
right.
or 17th or whatever. So
let's
now take whatever.
Let's do Mims again.
Keep Mims so we have the flexibility for Knicks. Yeah.
And we can always do Javon Baker. It can't be. I guess it could be an AOC team. I guess.
Well, just
I
like
don't know.
what do you
That
win?
feels
What do you
terrible.
win?
Yeah.
What do you win with it?
You win 17 points in week 6, I guess.
If I'm going to take the risk,
maybe you win. Maybe you win.
Yeah, maybe, right. If I'm going to do it, I understand the premise, but like there's a reason why Fields is like a good pick late. There's a lot of risk involved, and is he playing? By the way, he's running with the ones again today. We just got that while we're on the show, but he's going to score a shit ton of fantasy points if he is playing. We don't know if he's going to play, just like we don't know if AOC is going to play. But if AOC plays, like, who gives a shit? Congrats on your 14 points. I don't care. That's the Sam Darnold thing. It's like Vikings quarterbacks score fantasy points. So if Darnold's
the vibes are heading Justin Fields' way. I've actually bet on I bet yesterday Fields to start week 1 at 4-1 on DraftKings.
4-1's a bad number, I think, now, given everything that we know. Somebody mentioned in the chat, like, what do you win? We've seen him for 5 games. He has a huge range of outcomes. From a fantasy perspective, I don't think Aiden O'Connell has a huge range of outcomes. He can't run. He didn't run in college. He's a big, stiff board. I think he could be like, I think he has a range of outcomes in how good he is as a football player, but like the ceiling outcome is what's a Matthew Stafford, like fantasy wise, the ceiling outcome is Matthew Stafford, and I don't want Matthew Stafford, and I know he's good at football. So like, I just don't see the statue guys being worth the risk. Whereas Fields or whatever, at least the juice is worth the squeeze.
Okay, so here's the deal. We could take Slayton and set up Dimes. We could take Baker and set up May. May is probably a dog to start week 6. What do you think?
I like Javon Baker.
Okay. Bang.
And
Javon Baker.
It gives us the flexibility. And if we don't, I don't care if we have May on the team or not. I just like Javon. Like, I straight up like Javon Baker, period.
Yeah, I agree. I just think he's a good pick.
Somebody said he has a rushing TD, Aiden O'Connell. Like, yeah.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it? It was.
You guys should Google Aiden O'Connell and look. I
can't remember if it was. I can't remember if it was 3rd down or 4th down, but it was a 1 yard. It was a 1 yard sneak. And also, Mahomes is not even a statue. He adds like 350 yards and like 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns a year.
Right. There's a difference between Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence runs for, like you said, in Mahomes, they run for 300, 400 yards a year. They run for multiple touchdowns. Aiden O'Connell is, if they counted sacks against him, is going to run for significantly negative yards, and he did in college.
Okay, May went. Do you want to do Jones, Fields, or Knicks?
Let's do Fields. Come on, let's have some fun.
All right, let's have some fun. I love it. I love a little bit of JF1.
Yeah, was it bad to take CJ Stroud in the 18th last year? CJ Stroud was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. If Aiden O'Connell was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft,
O'Connell and CJ Stroud are not the same thing.
Yeah, that's a great comp.
Yeah, it's true. Mahomes' sneaks are literally he literally has not done one.
Also, we're like, every time like someone brings up a pocket passer, they bring up Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. It's like saying, well, yeah, anybody could be Tyreek Hill, right? Any short wide receiver could be Tyreek Hill. It's like, if we cherry pick the greatest players of all time, yeah, sure. Like, you can make that case. I'm not in the business of saying that Aiden O'Connell was a 6th-round pick or something like that, who never ran in college, who wasn't that good in college, and is competing with Gardner Minshew in his 2nd season, is going to be Patrick Mahomes. If you would like to do that, go for it. I take risky quarterbacks too. We just talked about Sam Darnold and Justin Fields. I have a very different perspective of Aiden O'Connell than you guys do. And I think he's going to win the starting job. I have him. He's not out of my rankings. There's all of these late round quarterbacks. We have Bo Nix.
Okay, this Fields. Chargers game didn't count. If you guys are using that game as the game, that game did not count, dude.
Also,
the Chargers
they
literally
scored like
quit.
70, and he only had 26 points. Like, imagine if the Chiefs scored 70 points or whatever. How many fantasy points would that's not even like a game-changing game.
You guys are fundamentally misunderstanding. Sure, no one should have dunked on you for drafting Stroud. No one serious thought Trask would start over Baker. You did not know ball if you were a Trask bro. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between Aiden O'Connell, a 4th round statue out of Purdue, versus the literal number 1 overall pick from Ohio State. Those are different things. Those are different things.
Yeah, I mean, draft them. It's not that interesting of a conversation.
If the Raiders were that confident in him, there would not be a QB battle between him and Gardner Minshew, who we know is like this era's
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Now we're about to be up again. We take a wide receiver. We could take a third quarterback.
Wow.
The third. Yeah. I think a third quarterback is not terrible.
I don't think it's terrible. I want to point out my favorite last round wide receiver though. Is Yoshi available? Son of a bitch.
I think we should take. Well, not with Mahomes. I don't know.
Melton or Malik Washington. Yep, slam dunk.
Melton is Melton does our NFC North thing.
And we're like loaded on that game now. I like that a lot actually. Melton Watson is kind of actually a fun little pairing. Like if something happens to Wicks or Dobbs, and honestly, I like the Packers wide receivers because I think there's a little like we try to put these guys in like a depth chart order on these offenses when a lot of the teams will rotate players, right? There's not some of these teams don't play the same. The Rams are the exception, not the rule, but we treat every offense like it's the Rams. They only play the same, 4 non-running back skill players all the time. The Packers are going to rotate all these dudes. Like Bo Melton is going to play. And Romeo Dobbs not running with the ones to start every practice right now, but he's going to play plenty. And so I like those wide receivers where you can get home with some usable weeks. Even though he's the wide receiver 5, he can still provide some usable weeks. Just, go 3 for 50 and a touchdown. But then if something happens, you might get the starting wide receiver on the Packers, who's probably pretty good in the last round. So Bo Melton is one of my kind of last round pick du jours.
All right. We got to make our pick in, you can help us. You can help us do this. I got to make pick in the FFPC, pros versus Joes. I'm splitting the equity of this team with a bunch of the YouTube members and the Patreon subscribers.
Oh, nice.
And so if we ship anything, they get it. Let's see, what do we have? Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Pacheco, Chase Brown, Edwards, Ty Chandler, Braylon Allen, Jefferson, Ayuk, Flowers, Rome, Dobbs, Polk.
Damn, this is a good team.
Bowers. Yeah, it's pretty fun team. I can't get the draft room. Okay, here we go. Sometimes it doesn't want to load. All right. So positionally, we can kind of do whatever. I mean, we're probably a little light at wide receiver. Let's see if there's anyone we like.
So this is managed, right?
No. This is best ball. This is best ball. Set it and forget it.
Okay.
If you listen, guys, if you become a YouTube member, you too can have equity in the team. It's nice. It's a free for all. It's best ball. I think we have to have defenses and kickers. No, we don't. We don't. It used to be. So this is the best ball slim. I don't know. Could be a Wandale team. Could be a Tyrone Tracy team. Where are you at on Tyrone Tracy?
I can't do it with Tyrone Tracy. You know who he reminds me of, who we drafted in our first draft, is Raheem Mostert. This guy who
where it takes a while,
old as dirt, but he literally just moved to running back last year on Purdue, and he was the backup on a bad Purdue team. go if you guys like Aiden O'Connell, you'll love Purdue's current starting running back, Devin Maccabee. Go look that guy up and you'll laugh because that's who started over Tyrone Tracy at Purdue, and he is like modern day Mike Allstott, just a bruiser. Tyrone Tracy to me feels like and kind of like interesting, fun career flyer. I don't really like betting on him this year to be like a fantasy difference maker. I think who knows, he could pop a couple times for a long play because he's athletic, but I don't want to bet on him becoming like a workhorse. It's kind of like a Jaleel McLaughlin-esque where like he might do stuff, but is he ever going to be like really, really useful?
That's
For me,
that's what it is. He is gonna do stuff, but it's not gonna be. I don't know how fantasy relevant that doing stuff will be. I mean, look, I want to take
I'm Michael
Wandale.
Wilson. Yeah, I like Wandale in a vacuum better than Michael Wilson.
The people want Ricky Pearsall, but here's the deal: Michael Wilson correlates just as much, and I know he's going to be on the field. Like Ricky Pearsall is going to play behind Juwan Jennings.
So my Pearsall stance as well as it. I don't like.
Yeah, Dortch later though. That's the thing.
Oh, that's fair. So maybe it's Wandale, but I don't love Pearsall actually with Purdy. And I know this is like maybe a little too threading the needle, but like Pearsall's ceiling outcomes really like even if he's running with the starters this year, he's at best fifth, right, amongst their offensive skill players in the pecking order. So for him to be a fantasy smash, I really need one of these guys to go down. And if one of these guys go down, Ayuk, Debo Kittle, or CMC, it's very bad for Brock Purdy. Like, I don't want Debo Samuel to get hurt for Brock Purdy, but I probably need Debo Samuel to get hurt for Ricky Pearsall to like access his ceiling. So I actually kind of like Pearsall as like a one-off or with just Ayuk or Kittle or something like that. I don't really like just a Pearsall Purdy stack because I actually kind of feel like their ceilings are a little bit on the opposite end. So it'd be if you want to wait for Dortch, it's fine. I like Wandale too. I think he's a good football player.
I'm gonna take guys. Come on, I'm gonna take Wandale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have two rookies. We're gonna want a little bit of a guy who's there. So surprising no one, we're gonna take a completely uncorrelated Wandale Robinson. So if you don't want any equity in that team, sorry boys, I apologize. All right, let's sauce our own team here in Best Ball Mania 5. Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, pretty fucking strong start there. Mahomes and Worthy. We get Watson at pick 69. Nice. Connor, Bowers, Swift, Javonte. That's a nice little run right there. Freiermuth correlating with the Kansas City stuff. I think that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Chandler, Wright, Ray Davis. You could definitely argue one of those guys should have been a wide receiver instead, or maybe we should have gotten our second quarterback out of the way. Maybe we should have taken Geno instead of Jalen Wright or something, because we did really leave ourselves in jail. We took Mims and we took Baker. I would have just taken Drake May, but he ends up going at 181 to the guy. Yeah. I should have realized that. That's on me. I did not realize that Drake May was already gone. I probably would have said we just take Slayton or Hyatt there to leave it up, but then it didn't end up mattering because we took Justin Fields and then we took we took Bo Melton. The Fields thing, you know, it is what it is. I think everyone's kind of entrenched in their opinions on Fields. I don't think we're going to be changing anyone's mind. I will just say this. You guys, you got to divorce Wandale Robinson from what the Giants offense was last year. A guy who can earn targets like that on like, if the Giants are the 19th best offense in the NFL, you think Wandale is going to be useless at that targets per route run? You're wrong. You're just straight up wrong. All right, we got to sauce the 101.
Ooh,
I mean this
is a start though.
It's a good fucking. I love the sauce, but man, I mean, how do you beat that out of the one hole? He knew what he was doing. He clearly had a plan. He was like, I'm going to take Lamb, then I'm going to do this. He gets the Hurts fall, dude.
Hurts is nice fall. There. Wow.
Man.
So here's the sauce is when I got the Hurts fall, I know you're tempted by Dak because you have CD. I know it. Trust me, I get it. And we're all tempted by Dak when you have CD. But once I got the Hurts fall, everybody takes Dak with CD and everybody takes Dak with this.
And you're leaving yourself so light. Weirdly,
I would take a running
tight
back
end here
or tight end. Yep, I would have taken.
Well, we fucked him over. We took Bowers.
Yeah.
So we fucked him over.
And Njoku, I would take. I know, I understand if you don't like David Njoku, but he's like a tier break for me. I would take on that team specifically. I would take David Njoku over Dak Prescott, or take another wide receiver that sets up another stack or something, because this team is so fucking supercharged with those first 4, even 5 with McLaurin. Those first 5 picks are amazing. Dak is the guy that everybody takes on this team, but they don't have Hurts.
He should have taken McBride instead of McLaurin. That's way better.
Oh,
McBride instead of McLaurin.
It's easy. It's easy to say now that you should have taken one of those tight ends, but McBride, Kincaid, Pitts,
but even at the time, you already have these 3 wide receivers. You nut out the quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're like Terry McLaurin or Trey McBride, or even if you're a Kincaid guy, if you're a Pitts guy, whatever, no issue with Montgomery, Ramondre. I mean, Dak is fine. I don't know. I mean, Cooks, I guess you that's like say the line Bart when you have Dak, but it doesn't feel that good. And then he did do the Hawkinson thing to secure it. I hate Chuba Hubbard. I just am like, literally, what is the point of Chuba Hubbard? What does Chuba Hubbard do for this team? I don't know. I like Algier. I like Wright. I might like Ray Davis better than Chuba Hubbard. In fact, I have Ray Davis ranked ahead of Chuba Hubbard.
I think
Henry, whatever. Pretty early on McMillan, especially when you're not setting up McMillan for the stack. You're just doing it for the vibes. I don't like Elijah Mitchell. Well, Elijah Mitchell, when you're picking out of the one hole and you take Lamb, is you're doing the Giga brain leverage thing. Yeah. Tolbert with Dak. I don't know. This team's fine. It's
fine. The only thing I would say is this is one of the examples of overdoing it with the 1 week 17 game. To me, there are a lot of Cowboys and a lot of Eagles on this team, and he took
Tyler Boyd. He took Tyler Boyd with his last pick.
Okay,
come on, dude. Come on, man.
One off. You talk about what is the point of Chuba Hubbard? What is the fucking point of one off Tyler Boyd in the last round? Yeah, I mean, I can't think of the Jalen Tolbert, Tyler Boyd with my last 2 picks that would make me feel more queasy.
Beimfohr's got to get out of here, but we will sauce you real quick. Where this guy, the guy took Tua? Where'd he get him? Okay, he got him at 149. He's picking at pick 5. He goes, am I sharing the screen? Yes. Yeah. Chase, Waddle, Cup, strong. Kelsey, strong. Hollywood, strong. Rome, you're beating ass, dude. You got the Chiefs correlation. I would have pushed it on Burrow because I think the T. Higgins guy is behind you. Yeah, the T. Higgins guy was behind you. So,
but he got Chase Brown. He probably likes it. Yeah,
he did. But so the T. Higgins guy is behind him. You got to know ball a little bit. Yeah. And the T. Higgins guy has Anthony Richardson, so he might not even take Burrow at 112. You could have gotten the 2v2 is you could have gotten whoever, Zamir White, Zach Moss. You could have taken both. You could have taken both Bengals running backs. I mean, that's just that's a very I could see that one going either way.
Okay, I see the problem here.
I think you literally just got to let it go. I do. I think you just got to let it go. I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't think that taking 2 at this spot makes your team bad, but you're looking at it. You haven't taken a wide receiver since Odunze as your wide receiver 5. Your wide receiver 6 is Troy Franklin. Your wide receiver 7 is Andre Yoshibas. Those guys might not get points. Like, they literally might not actually score fantasy points. Like, Troy Franklin might be a healthy scratch. Yoshibas might get buried behind Burton or Charlie Jones, or they play 2 tight ends or whatever. Like, and you ended like this team is fine, but you're much better off with Michael Wilson or Wandale or Luke McCaffrey or whoever instead of Tua on this team. Again, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's not. I think it's fine. I really think it's fine. I didn't get any bad feedback. It's just I'm not going to sauce a good team. If a team is good, I will tell you. But if you give me some dog shit, I'm going to tell you it's dog shit too.
Yeah, if you drafted the Derrick Henry and Saquon or whatever in the first 2 rounds, we'll have some fun. But these are pretty good teams that have minor things that I would do. The Tua thing to me is like probably the greatest micro edge that is the hardest like learned behavior in best ball, which is the falling pocket passing quarterback that just keeps falling and falling and falling. And you might even have, like he has, Jalen Waddle, but he doesn't really make your team better. Like it was we talked about, right? The Mahomes conversation before, or the 3 quarterback conversation before, like so infamous tweet when I made fun of a maybe like Ball Mania 2, James White, the what the fuck does James White do for this team that I replied to. But that's how I feel about Tua on this team. Is just like, you placed your chips, man. They're placed. Tua doesn't substantially improve this team, but that other, like you said, I like Yoshi, and I still am okay.
Yeah, I like
Troy
Yoshi
Franklin
too, but I like him better.
We got to
as
understand
the
bet
receiver.
they are. Yeah, you got to understand the kind of bet they are and how they fit into teams. And so the ADP value on Tua is fine, but it has to work well with, like you said, lineups, not players, or teams, not ADPs. And when you put the whole team together, you've created a flaw and gained some ADP value on a 3rd quarterback when you already had 2 in the top 10 rounds. Did you actually make your team better, or did you just get ADP value on that one player? The ADP value makes you feel really goddamn good, but it doesn't actually make your team better in this instance, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And it's like, we're not saying he's a bad pick. I'm not saying this is a bad team.
No.
I'm just saying, also, I'm like, I'm like worried about Troy Franklin. Like my aren't you worried meter about Troy Franklin is up. It's
well,
higher.
Yoshi's gonna start and Troy Franklin is not.
Yeah. Yes, sure. All right, there we go. We knocked out. Did I label? I gotta make sure I labeled my team.
Yeah, this one will be the Mahomes. The
Beimfohr Mahomes. This one's a shipper. All right, I did. Beautiful. All right, before Gretch pops in, I wonder if he got his time zones wrong, because he was supposed to be here 5 minutes ago. Tell the people about what's going on at Spike Week.
Yeah, of course, Davis will be joining me a little later this afternoon for a fun little home and home. We're gearing up for the stretch run now that football is starting back tonight. A small little mini break to recharge the batteries and keep our sanity. And we're going full pedal to the metal content wise here down, like I said, these last 5 weeks or so. And just the big thing that we do, more than just the content, more than drafts and all that kind of stuff, is our tools. If you're drafting your best ball teams and you want to see every little nook and cranny of your exposures in your portfolio, we have tools to help you do that. And we have what we call the Draft Hacker, which overlays totally customizable information. There's like 100 options that you can see live while you draft on your screen. Anything, all the correlations, all the ADP values, everything on Underdog, but also on DraftKings and on Drafter. So check that out at spikeweek.com.
So get into the matrix, and Eric, I will see you in like 2.5, 3 hours, and we can continue the vibe. Take it easy, brother.
Cheers, buddy.
Later. Mr. Benjamin Gretch, yards per Gretch. How we doing, man? How's your morning?
Good. I did a Film Room Heroes show with Christopher Harris this morning, which was a nice change up, man. Got to talk some ball. So just some pure, unadulterated. This is what
wow.
I enjoy about football.
Ball now?
I mean, some are saying. Some are saying it. All right. Let's how are you enjoying your slow draft hell? I am also in a little bit of a slow draft hell. I'm in like 210 slows right now, but how are you finding it?
Are you enjoying it? Do you enjoy it more or less now that you're making it content?
I hate it now that I'm doing the content. I was just gonna say that it's really tricky. Well, I mean, like obviously, I entered 100 drafts, so there's the thing of like you got to do them all and get caught up first thing in the morning. You got to do them all right before bed, and like I want to wake up and work sometimes. So I literally just got done with that pod. And I had 21 minutes left on one of them. And I'm like, oh shit, I almost timed out. Like, and I was doing a show the other day and realized I hadn't checked it in the morning. And I had 1 minute and 32 seconds left. I don't think I've timed out yet. I'm kind of anal about it. And I don't think I've had a single timeout yet. Cause I do usually check and get caught up in the morning, and I do it before bed. And then if you do that, you basically just have to find time one time during the day and get completely caught up.
One time during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like those 3 times, if you do those 3 and you get completely caught up, you should be good. But there are some times when I'm like, both my shows in the morning the last 2 days have been 7 Pacific out here. And I'm, getting up at 6:30, having some coffee, getting ready for the show. I'm not like, I don't have an hour to do 47 best ball picks. You know what I mean? Like it's a little tricky. So when I'm doing more content and I have more stuff to do, it's harder to carve out the time. It's a lot more fun when it's the dead period in like May. It's like, I don't got shit to do. I just want to make picks. This is great. Like,
yeah.
And I don't have to deal with the fact that these takes are going to be wrong for a few months. Now it's like, crap, that guy I drafted yesterday, I just heard he's getting absolutely dunked on.
And you're right. You're wrong. Like right now, the feedback is like immediate. I'm like, I'm wrong. I'm wrong right now. Like I'm already looking at my Jermaine Burton bags and being like, I wish that I could roll about 10% of these bags back into Andre Yoshibas bags. So,
right.
It's
that reminder that drafting is fun, but then the actual results are just a kick in the nuts for a few months. That's what football season is as far as fantasy goes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's great and rewarding, and you get the hits right and all that stuff. It's also like, I mean, dude, there's so much stuff. The football seasons are chaos. There's so much stuff that is going to go way, way wrong for us in ways that we weren't even wrong. Like I'm reminded of the Garrett Wilson thing, like the Aaron Rodgers thing right away. And you're like, oh, well, that sucks. I guess he's playing with Zach Wilson again this year.
The things that we are going to be right about, but we're not going to get paid off. Like what if one of my big fears is that I end up being very right about the Chiefs offense, but Worthy somehow doesn't benefit, or Worthy, like the Chiefs, they go crazy, or they have the division wrapped up for that week 17 game against Pittsburgh, or Fields throws a pick 6 to start that game. Like imagine I get a Chiefs stack through.
And then Pacheco's running all game.
And then Pacheco just goes nuts. CD, you good?
Yeah, CD.
Okay.
That would be a brutal, brutal run out. Yeah, I mean that's the stuff that we're in for. And so
but that's the stuff that happens.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you're asking about kind of how the slows are going and all that stuff, I mean, trying to manage the ends of these drafts also that I entered all these drafts several weeks ago. I had 100 drafts. About half of them are done now. The other half I'm in the 13 plus rounds, right? Like I'm every morning when I go do a few, I'm closing a couple out, it feels like. But that means that every time I check the roster, I'm like, God damn it, I have Kendre Miller in the 13th round on this one. And it's like, I'm not doing fast. So I'm not being able to be like, make the decision on Kendre today about whether I want him at pick 175. I have to go look at a roster where I drafted him at 140. And it's just like, oh shit, this is not how I intended to play this.
Yeah. So. I will say I'm about to get off this program when after I got 2 more drafts left, and then I will immediately have to start making slow draft picks because I'll have like 2 hours left on a bunch of them, and that is a little bit discouraging. But
yeah,
at the same time, there's a real edge in the slow drafts because there are like the slow puppy, for example, like there are a bunch that are already done that are there's gonna be a bunch of player news that happens in the next 2 weeks that I will get to, or the next 10 days that I'll get to react to.
That's true. Yeah, there's definitely an edge and stuff that's already closed, but I mean, I think through the edge element from the perspective of like, I'm doing so many slows that I don't even look at my teams very closely. A lot of the times, like if it's late at night and I need to go to bed, I'm just like clicking players onto teams that I know that I like, so I don't get autoed players that I don't like. Like, oh, this team only has a couple running backs, but I'm not looking at like draft capital buckets and stuff. And I'm sure there's a lot of people doing slows that are actually thinking through it. And whenever I do fasts on streams and stuff, obviously I can't where I live, but my teams are way more coherent, and I'm building with the people that I'm drafting with in a more coherent way than my slows are. So I do think there's like a lack of an edge there for me, especially when I'm trying to get volume in, where I'm just like, dude, I'm just clicking buttons sometimes. And there's probably other people in those specific drafts that are leveraging it against me that are like, you know, I'm on the turn. They're checking if I have a quarterback yet. They're doing this stuff. I'm not doing any of that shit. Like I should be.
None of it. No, none of it. I'm using the slow drafts, the batch slow drafts to like kind of prune my exposures, really. To like be like, I've got too much of this guy. I've got not enough of this guy. Like, oh, I'm light on Rico Dowdle, or I'm light on whoever. So I'll just take him a ton. And it sort of works itself out naturally too, where like Rico Dowdle is just on the top of mind because there was like the big negative news day for Dowdle. And I was like, oh, well, I just won't take Dowdle anytime I'm on the clock in the 13th round today, you know. But then there was a good news day for Dowdle the next day, so I'm like, okay, sick. I'm gonna start taking Dowdle again. Yeah. So you just kind of ride the wave. You just are riding the wave of what's going on in the.
And if you're layering your start times like you can, then that's great. For me, I enter them all in batches. I drive out of state. It's a whole ordeal. It's a few hour drive for me. And so I'm in the 13th round in all my drafts at the same time, kind of a thing. So whatever the news cycle is where my exposures are leaning. And then like a few weeks later, I'm like, God damn it, I wish I was in the 13th round in a bunch of drafts because I want to play this way. So, I mean, I'm overweight on the things that were newsy when my drafts were in those ranges, and I'm underweight on, you know, on the vice versa.
Do you want to take A-Chain and hope that there's a wide receiver we like coming around, or take the wide receiver first?
I'm down with that. The other pick for me would be Adams. I'm okay taking Adams too, but
we'll give the guy picking at the turn an absolute gift. The ability to start Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams. What a beautiful gift for him. Devonta does go.
He snaps up both the receivers.
Yeah, that stinks. I would probably take DJ Moore. What do you think?
See, this is why I probably would have went Adams first, because this is a whole different tier to me. I think I would go Metcalf. I'm starting to get pretty into the Ryan Grubb. Like the Seahawks could be pretty fun. I don't like Metcalf at this price, but I want to get more Seahawks stacks, I think. Like I've been asked about that a lot this offseason. The more I talk about it, because I'm a Huskies guy, I got the helmet in the background. The more I talk about it, the more I think about it, I'm like, man, like Mike McDonald gets all that hype about being super cerebral and this like defensive coordinator that's redefining the way to play defenses. Obviously, he understands the types of offenses that are different to scheme against or difficult to scheme against. He went down to the college level and grabbed Grubb, who had no other NFL buzz, and wanted to become the Huskies head coach after the Huskies. Kalen DeBoer got hired away by Alabama. They interviewed him. They didn't give him the head coaching job. He sent out a really heartfelt message to the Huskies fans that he was really hoping that he could take over and continue the mission and all this, but sort of felt like a backup that he was going to go with DeBoer and continue to work under DeBoer at Alabama. Point being, he didn't seem to have a lot of prospects, a lot of options, but McDonald was like, I want that dude. And if you watch the Huskies the last couple of years or have heard anything about their offense and the way that they did things, is a very, very modern offense, ton of motion, ton of misdirection, all the elements that you want from modern offenses that are very difficult to scheme against, very multiple in their formations, a lot of play action, a lot of like, it's like if you were spamming all of the analytical things that you could into every play design. And if Grubb can actually do that at the NFL level, I don't know if he can, and I don't know how good of a coordinator he's going to be without working under DeBoer, but if he can actually do that, and the fact that McDonald went to go get him, like intentionally went to go get him a little later in the hiring cycle, tells me that that's what McDonald wants out of the offense too. Like this could be a really fun offense that sets up some stuff. The knock on Geno is that he doesn't get those progressions as well, but he's a super accurate passer.
So like accurate.
Data. Yeah. So if the offense is actually really good at being multiple and disguising stuff and giving him really clean first reads, he's going to excel in that. Like I actually want to get more Geno bags down the stretch. I'm starting to think he's probably one of the underrated late round guys getting pretty hyped overall. I think JSN's going to have a big year. Setting up, a Seattle thing with Metcalf early is, I think, a reasonable. I think he's sort of overpriced because if the offense is very multiple like that, a lot of 3 receivers, like everybody's going to get there, and maybe there doesn't need to be as much of a gap. I'd rather play it through the cheaper guys, but I don't mind getting some Metcalf, setting that stuff up.
Yeah, big for JSN, big for Lockett, big for Sharps.
Probably big for Fant, even.
Well, God, I hope so, because I got really cabal pilled. I didn't even mean to, but every time I look at my exposure sheet, Fant is way up there, and I'm like, I don't even really believe this. This is a low conviction but high. I guess it's just where he goes in drafts, and I'm so the Patriots were my favorite backstack for so much of this stuff, and every update from training camp is Drake May can't tie his shoes. The wide receivers can't get open. This guy on the offensive line has malaria. That's not a bit. That really happened. That is, we'll Google it. It's real.
That's not real.
It's
That's not real.
It's real.
There's an offensive lineman in the NFL with malaria right now?
One of their offensive linemen is recovering from malaria. Apparently, almost died.
What?
Real.
I mean, are we
fact check it? Fact check it.
A grown NFL player is an anti-vaxxer and got malaria and almost died. That's where we're at. Him and Rodgers probably get along real well. The New York Jets are looking for him this offseason.
So what's going on? Yeah, I mean, so this is also the same thing, is that there are so many New England beat writers that you don't know who is telling the truth. It's all messed up, but it's definitely not great. The vibes are not great in New England right now. So instead of taking Hunter Henry, I'm taking Fant. I'm taking Geno backdoors a lot of the time now, where I was taking May before. Not Broncos training camp with Knicks is going that much better either. All right, this spot sucks. We really should have just taken Devonta. What do you want to do?
I think probably we got to get a wide receiver, I think, in the spot. Because I think Dak sets up so nice. So it would be Hollywood or Kirk. It's probably Keenan, but I'm okay with Hollywood here because you're not going to get Xavier or Rashee Rice back. And I am with you that the KC collectively you need to be in on. So I'm okay. I think the Hollywood price is bad, and I also am okay just taking him.
Same.
At this
so I get that's where I'm at too. I mean, I think Keenan went.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Kirk
fifth round Jalen Hurts.
No, I think I would go elite tight end at this point, personally. Well, I mean, yeah, you could take Hurts. You could talk me into that. We got him with Lamb, but I just don't know how you're stacking
our elite tight end is Pitts or Kincaid.
I would go Kincaid. I play a lot of Kincaid. I'm pretty high on it, but I would also like Pitts too. Hurts is tough because you don't have him stacked, and fifth round. Let's do Pitts. I like that too. Yeah.
I almost had you make a fool of me on my own. We did.
You're really out on Kincaid.
Not out. I'm not out. I don't want to make it seem as if I think Kincaid stinks, as if Josh Allen's number one guy can't be good, yada yada, whatever. But I mean, you just got done doing the projections podcast with Leone. The math to make Kincaid a giga smash is a little bit more difficult than it is to make Pitts a giga smash, in my opinion, because the Falcons are going to be so concentrated. The Falcons have all these dome games. They're going to be their pass rate over expectation, despite the fact that they have Kirk Cousins, not Josh Allen, is actually probably going to be better. And I guess I have not been doing projections this year, so maybe this would not be true, but my memory of doing projections would be that when you actually start doing the math for the Bills, and you're like, well, Knox is going to be out there a ton. They've got this rookie wide receiver. They've got Samuel. They've got Shakir. They've got these other rotational pieces. They're probably going to throw 9% of their targets to James Cook. The math to get Kincaid to a smash is a little bit more difficult.
I think you make some really strong points about the Falcons offense and the ways they could be really concentrated and what that could mean for Pitts. When I did the projection, one of the things I noticed with the Bills was all of their ancillary pieces are bad at earning targets. Khalil Shakir is like sub 14% targets per out run for his career. He's way overdrafted right now. He's a slot player.
Shakir sucks.
He's probably going to play behind Kincaid in the slot. Curtis Samuel can earn some volume. The 4 of the last 5 years, he's had between 90 and 105 targets, which is like a crazy stat. He was hurt the other year. He actually earned some volume, but he's not going to be a 130 target guy. He's probably going to be, even if he gets a little above that and sets a career high, probably a 110, 115 Marcus Valdes-Scantling does not earn volume. Like and neither did Gabe Davis in that role. Matt Collins not going to earn volume. Like, yeah, Knox is going to be out there some, but they're probably going to just do 2 tight end sets, put Kincaid in the slot. I left it like the number 1 target share has to go to Kincaid. It can't go to anyone else. So
it can't be Samuel. It can't be Coleman.
I mean, just Kincaid had almost a 20% targets per route as a rookie tight end. His ADOT actually rose under Joe Brady to an above average. Like, a lot of people think that he just was spammed underneath targets. He had an above average ADOT in the 9 games with Joe Brady, above average for a tight end, like 8+ ADOT in the 9 games with Joe Brady versus the 10 games with Ken Dorsey. It was like a 4 ADOT. It was like half the same depth. And so it was a totally different role, but he actually earned more volume per route under Brady, slightly more at the higher ADOT. That role actually looks really pretty solid for him. It could be Samuel. I mean, it could be like, I think you're really reaching with Samuel's profile. I think Kincaid with the year 2 profile just sort of makes sense. I do think it's going to be a lot less concentrated. I'm with you there. I think my projections came out with both of them in the same range of targets. I just think there is room for Kincaid to really consolidate. Like, if he is like that dude, if he's good enough to be the first round pick that they took him as last year, I mean, he wasn't bad last year. And
he definitely wasn't bad. He definitely was not bad. But
there's some room for him. But I agree with you that the Pitts thing is actually more natural. When I was on with Robert Mays a couple weeks ago, he was talking about how they're going to use Pitts on more of the like intermediate crossers that they use with like Puka Nacua in the Rams offense. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
one time.
My God.
Can we get 1 year where Pitts gets the easy shit? That's all we want. I don't want every Kyle Pitts highlight to be him one-on-one versus a defensive back and him having to just out-athlete for every reception. That's literally worst case scenario. All right, we are about back up, and it's not great. It's not a great part of the board to be in, but it's fine.
Well, I think with DK, JSN's we're kind of really hoping that he slides here, in my opinion.
Well, I would prefer. Christian Watson would be my big time. You probably don't like Christian Watson as much.
I don't like Christian Watson now as much. He's better in best ball, right? Like, we could definitely take.
Well, he definitely. Okay, Watson goes. So JSN.
I think JSN's a really clear pick when we only have 3 receivers because it's basically the end of a tier. The other option is, wait, what else do we have at wide receiver here?
Coleman, Samuel, Addison, Palmer, Jameson Williams, Sutton, Palmer.
You could throw Addison on there and just be like, play for a low suspension risk because I think he does still have the upside to justify it. But I don't know. What do you think?
He's
what do you
definitely
like?
Getting
Kenneth
suspended.
Walker? Yeah. Ken Walker, just keep building out the Seattle thing.
Someone posted it in Discord this morning. I tried to go back and find it, but basically, there's been an update that we could have taken Coleman actually, but basically, there's been an update that like this specific legal thing, Addison, like there's not going to be a trial. Like it's not going to be like a fought thing, which makes it more likely Addison gets this early season suspension as opposed to the playoff suspension.
Which would be good.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
I think maybe someone posted, I can't remember if someone posted it in my Discord or in Ship Chasing, but someone posted a good update on Addison this morning.
I don't love taking him at pick 74 or anything right now, but if you're behind at receiver at all, I do think like you just take the 3 games and you're like, okay, whatever. Some of these guys are.
The math is a little different now for me because there are late round wide receivers that I'm kind of into now, like who are going to make like Mims, Michael Wilson, Dortch, the Giants guys, Yoshi Boss. Like there are
a bunch of bad picks that you're telling yourself have upside.
Yeah, a bunch of bad picks that I'm like, but if you just squint, like they're bad picks. But what if, Gretch? I think maybe you're failing to do the what if part of the experiment.
I think I was missing the what if in my mental thoughts. We definitely should have went Keenan over Hollywood Brown in hindsight. That would have been the right move. Chicago on it.
No, he went. That's why we didn't take him. He
went on the turn, but we took Brown ahead of him.
Oh, we took Brown first. Yeah, shit.
That was kind of a mistake there.
Okay. All right.
In hindsight.
You're right.
The chat was asking Watson's one of the best picks on the board. Are you really into Watson? I'm kind of curious about the bull case.
No, I don't think he's
poor last year.
Well, I mean, I completely throw out him playing on like a bum wheel last year. One of my things is there's almost nothing more damaging to our perceptions as numbers and evidence-based analysts as treating numbers where a guy is clearly playing physically limited as the same as their normal health. But the deal with Watson is I'm just a Packers bull. I'm like, Reed is a terrible price, but I want to have some of him. The Watson price is like wide receiver 41 seems about fair, honestly, for his profile. But like, I want Jordan Love. I want Musgrave. I want last round Kraft. I want Wicks. I want Dobbs. I want Bo fucking Melton. I want Marshawn Lloyd.
But when you're hearing Romeo Dobbs, they're talking him up constantly. Obviously, you gotta like Dontavian Wicks, or else you don't know ball. Jaden Reed's gonna get volume, right? And Watson is this dude that
I actually wonder if Reed might not. I wonder if Reed is the one that stands the most to lose from a healthy Watson.
But I mean, he's gonna be the motion short area touch guy. They gave him a bunch of handoffs last year.
Maybe. What if it's Wicks?
They operate in it. Oh, I thought you were going to say, what if it's Watson? I mean, Reed and Watson operate in such different areas of the field depth wise, like schematically, that I don't see how. I mean, maybe if Wicks is taking that stuff, I guess I can see that.
That's what Wicks was as a college player, because Wicks played for this awful Virginia team in college. Like truly terrible. And he was like their only NFL level player. So he got a bunch of Jaden Reed type stuff in college.
Gotcha. But he's like more of a downfield guy so far in his career. I mean, like pretty good route runner.
I mean, I just think he can do it. I just think he can do it all. He's basically Devontae Adams. So
right. You know. Everyone's like, I thought of him and Dobbs as kind of competing for one spot. I've also heard Wicks described as a downfield guy that could take like some of Christian Watson's work this year. So it sounds to me like Dontavian Wicks is just coming for everybody. He's coming for everyone.
He's coming for. He's 33% target share on one of the most talented young pass catching teams in the NFL. Yeah, the Christian Watson bull, it's exactly this. Ignore all of these bad things and just look at the touchdowns. I mean, that's literally what I'm saying to Ben right now is forget the bad stuff.
Everything you know.
And just look at the touchdowns, because he does score touchdowns.
Oh, Brock Bowers we almost could do the double elite tight end there.
I would have liked that. All right, you want to
Can we get Dak on the does the guy on the turn have any reason to take Dak? He did take Devonta.
He did take Devonta. Dak? He might.
We should probably just take Dak, right? There's nothing else glaring at me.
I was gonna say, if there was like a running back I thought we needed like podium for, then I would have, but it's not. It's nothing crazy. Yeah, I would have loved to have taken Bowers there though. All right, we're back up. Running back, we could take Wicks. Well, it's pretty early for Wicks, actually. I mean, he's not going to come back to us, but what are you thinking here? 1-2-4-1 build.
Yeah, I don't love it. I guess probably like Zach Moss is the gross pick, or Njoku. I do a lot just to close out tight end early when I'm in this kind of situation.
That gives us another quarterback too.
Yeah, let's just go close out tight end kind of thing. And
all right,
because I don't like the late tight ends.
You just saved me. I don't really like the light tight ends either. You just saved me from doing a 90 spot reach on Wicks or on Chase Brown.
Yeah, Chase Brown would have been the other one that I'd have been fine with. I'm like, all right, whatever. You could have done Love, but I didn't like the idea that you really then are sweating that Wicks or Dobbs comes back, and we've been sitting here talking about him on stream and all this stuff. So I just don't think that they're going to come back in this particular draft. But you could have done QB and gotten 2 in the window and just called it quits. The Njoku thing, like I've done that a lot. I'm not doing it as much right now if I can help it, because there's a late round tight end that's completely mispriced right now, that if I took a Pitts, I'd rather just stack him with Jawan Johnson, but they have the same buy. So it makes some sense.
Yeah, I do. I've been doing a lot of the Juwan Johnson thing. I've got like no Njoku, so it's totally fine by me. Yeah. And I like doing, the more bored I get, the more teams I draft, the more I'm like, hey, let's just do some weird shit. Let's do some 2 tight ends in the first 9 rounds. Let's do how many people, probably most teams that have Dak at pick 95, 94, 96 have Ferguson too. Probably a very heavy overlap of round 8 Ferguson, round 9 Dak.
Which is great because Ferguson's a terrible pick. So those teams are dead.
I don't think he's not to quote Peter, he's not a terrible pick in a vacuum. Like, oh, Jake Ferguson, he's fine. He's going to score 7 touchdowns, have 800 receiving yards. Like, he's fine. But he goes ahead of 2 guys who can be season winners because Bowers is like potentially one of the 10 skeleton keys to the year, for fantasy. And like we've literally seen Njoku do it. Like we actually watched David, like 7 months ago, we watched David Njoku be the guy and one of the advance rate guys.
And everyone's like, well, that was just with Flacco. Well, it was also a little bit of a change in his usage. As ADOT came way down, they were using him as a block and release outlet guy a lot. Instead of like having your running back be your outlet, they were like, we're going to get the ball on the outlet to the guy who's huge and super fast and will run through a guy, run around him, or jump over him. And Njoku got a lot of cheap little short area catches based on that. And people were like, well, that was all with Flacco. But I saw some reports already in camp that they're talking about like featuring Njoku a little bit more, doing some more creative stuff and different usage with him. They didn't really describe it particularly well, but I was like, that's the bet, is that they're actually like, well, we liked the usage, the particular way that we used him. Maybe Watson won't check down as much as Flacco, but because he's going to take off and scramble and stuff like that occasionally. But if you have Njoku as the outlet receiver again this year, like he's going to catch more balls than I think people realize. They think it's just going to completely go away. The other thing about Ferguson, I agree with you. I did my projections. He came out higher than I wanted him to. I was annoyed because I've been kind of anti-Ferguson. But I just do not think that this idea that he can smash his ADP. Like, there's going to be volume. I don't think he can smash his ADP. I think he can be a small win. I do not think he has the profile to go score with, unless he takes a huge step forward, which is maybe possible. But, year 3 tight end, whatever. But I don't think he has a profile to go and score with the elite tight ends. And I'm really buying the elite tight end thing this year. Like, I think
his best, he could have a Gary Barnage season, but
it's not going to matter this year.
Yeah, I just don't think it seems that likely. Nick, I'm going to answer this in a second because I'm actually deep in the Grant Calcaterra lore. It's not the answer that you want, but we're gonna make these turn picks first. All right.
We almost got Javonte to fall away back. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy's one of those plays that when you're behind at receiver, I usually like. We also took Njoku already.
Correct.
I don't know, but the week 10 buys are starting to get crowded. I don't know. What are you thinking about him?
No, we take Jeudy and we just are hoping. Well, actually, I wonder. We probably on this team. We probably hope it's Jameis.
We got Achane in here as well, so we're doing the Miami Cleveland thing, which is solid.
All right, the whole fucking screen is running backs and quarterbacks, but none of the quarterbacks really make any sense for us. What do you want to do?
Will you click a receiver real quick? Yeah.
Polk, Williams, Gabe, Downs.
I wouldn't mind like reaching on a Josh Downs just to get another receiver, but I also wouldn't mind. We don't have to do that.
Done. Okay. I'm trying to get more downs. All right.
Dude, he's just blowing up camp right now.
All right, Nick. Here's the Calcaterra lore. Grant Calcaterra, #1 tight end recruit. He was like amazing. He was going to be awesome. He had 3 concussions in 2 years at Oklahoma. He retired from football. He said, "I'm done. I'm out." Then a year later, he changed his mind. He went to play at SMU. He was teammates with Rashee Rice. But that was 4 years ago. He's been a Philadelphia Eagle for 3 years. Goddard has missed time. Actually, I believe he was even there with Ertz, if my memory. He might have overlapped for half a season with Ertz. The tight end 2 with Kellen Moore, I don't see it. I think it's more likely that like Johnny Wilson kind of has like a weird hybrid role that Kellen Moore uses. There is no round 18 Calcaterra. I apologize because he went to the University of Oklahoma, and I will like literally do anything to big up those guys, but it's not there for Calcaterra.
I will do anything to big up the University of Oklahoma guys. I love that.
Like I'll be telling people like, oh, round 18 Eric Gray. I've done worse things than round 18 Eric Gray.
is not an NFL talent. He's not an NFL
he's
athlete. But I said that about Kyron Williams last year, so go get Eric Gray.
I mean, still time to be vindicated on Kyron Williams. Still time.
No, we've lost that battle, man. He was good last year. He was good.
Who's your
so this build? We have
go ahead.
Dak. We've done so. Okay, we already have Dak. I was gonna say that Gino and Deshaun Watson, we both have double set up, and they both have week 10 buys, and we're gonna end up hating ourselves. But we have Dak, so we can just do one of those two.
Yes. And look, this could always be this could be an emergency Herbert team if we just like absolutely hate the board coming around in 12-13. So yeah, here's the deal, Alexander Riley. I don't want to think about it. I would rather not think about the Chiefs just dominating the Steelers and not needing to pass much, by far being the most likely outcome, because that is bad for me, and I'd just rather not.
Here's the deal. My head is in the sand firmly about this situation.
That specific outcome, don't want to think about it. Don't want to pretend that it's part of this reality. Also, people might remember that some pretty shitty Steelers teams have actually had shootouts with the Chiefs. The late stage Ben Roethlisberger, they had a couple crazy games. I mean, can Russ Wilson or Justin Fields not be late stage Ben Roethlisberger? I think it'll be fine. It will be fine. That's just all you need to know, is it'll be fine.
We never know. We just got to live a little. Right?
That's the thing, is we just don't know. And actually, ADP is kind of working out in the favor of that way anyways, because you can't really get Chiefs triple stacks or even really double stacks anymore. It's really just Mahomes and one guy, and Mahomes and one guy can get there in any game score. So it's fine.
I love this from Benny in the chat. Ignoring realistic outcomes is the key to best ball. Honestly, I mean, it's definitely the key to mental health. You're kind of, it's that Twitter, that old meme, that tweet where it's like me reaping, like, oh fuck yeah,
oh,
and
fuck.
then me sowing, like,
me
oh
sowing.
Fuck, this sucks.
And anytime I try and get too fucking cute about predicting week 17 stuff, I'll just remember that Cleveland New York Jets was going to be the worst game of all time, played outside in a blizzard next to a lake, and it ended up being 37-20 with, I can't remember if Tim Boyle started that game or who started at quarterback for the Jets, and like 3 guys got there anyways.
Yep, for sure. These are conversations for future Ben and future Davis to worry about. It's not
this is not current me's problem in any way, shape, or form. That's none of my business at all. Yeah. Okay. We got one pretty obvious pick here to make. We'll see if Blaker's Man 1975 makes it, or if we can just do it.
You're talking about Dowdle, I assume.
Yes. By far the best running back at camp. You good with that?
Yes. Yeah. By far the best at camp. I didn't know that. Mostly just because we got the Dak Lamb thing going. We're already in on Dallas, and yeah, ADP value. I think he's a really easy pick there.
All right. This is a more tricky spot.
Will you click over to QB? Do we got to make a decision on QB right now or no? Watson
156. I mean, it's close.
And then Gino could come back if not. So we'll just push that.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably doing another running back, Jaleel or Jalen Wright, whichever one. Oh, we have Achane. I think it's a Jaleel pick.
Jaleel sets up a little bit.
Sets up maybe a really extreme backdoor Knicks thing. Yeah.
I'm not really that worried about this, about the NFL limiting some of the pre-snap mode. There was an article on Pro Football Talk today about the NFL limiting some of the pre-snap motion with false starts. I mean, this is like that. No, it is not going to limit the cheat motion in any way, shape, or form. I don't think.
I have not seen this yet. So you're getting my real-time response. This is the stupidest fucking idea. Just the simple fact that anyone's writing about it, that the NFL would even think about it. The pre-snap motion has been like a godsend these last couple of years as defenses are getting way better at stopping offenses, and it's like the offense's cheat code back. Like they're finding these ways to actually get their guys in good spots again. And so, of course, the NFL is like, we hate fun. I mean, it's just like, it's such a, like the NFL has never understood its own sport, legislates it horribly, makes the worst effing decisions about everything. So, of course, that's the report right now. That doesn't surprise me in the least that that's the report.
I think the kicking rules, though, signals to me that the NFL actually they don't want a repeat of last season with the too high safety apocalypse and imagine a set of rules that turn Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson into boring players to watch, because that's what it did. For stretches of the season, Baltimore Ravens games were unwatchable. What
kicking rules did
the kickoff rule itself? I think that's a tacit admission of wanting to do things differently and of wanting just to open it up in general.
Sure.
Because the new kickoff rule is done. The reason why they did it in the XFL is because they wanted their explicit reason with the XFL was they didn't want people to change the channel during the kickoffs. They wanted they wanted just like your eyes.
It's an exciting play.
It's an exciting play.
I didn't know how that tied into the passing thing, but you're just saying it's an exciting play and it's a good sign.
I'm just saying that if they're having these meetings about rules, one of the things they would be thinking is, well, why the fuck would we legislate this arcane rule about pre-snap motion when we don't have to? Who's going to call us on it? Who's going to be calling the league office saying, I hate that my favorite team is scoring too many points because Malik Washington gets to run free before the snap?
Yeah, I don't know. But apparently they're writing, Pro Football Talk's writing articles about this. Siegel last year was like, I think we need to expand motion. I remember this during one of our Sunday night things. He's like, let's make it like the Arena League. Let's allow people to forward motion. Yeah, running towards the line of scrimmage. Let's just let everyone do whatever the hell they want. Everyone can motion all at once.
Yeah, CFL rules. I mean, that would be with NFL athletes. That would be it would be cheating. It would be like, well, it's just you would. Not one defensive back in the NFL would be good enough to like stop George Pickens with a head of steam. It would just be an automatic touchdown like every time, which would be fun. I'd sign me up for automatic George Pickens touchdowns. Honestly.
Yes.
All right.
Wait, George Pickens touchdowns? No, sorry, don't sign me up for that.
Yeah, I forgot the ship chasers. I forgot the ship chasers are anti George Pickens, which is so.
I'm anti. No, I'm anti Arthur Smith, bro. Like that's not off brand.
Well, are you kidding me? You might sadly need to learn ball and look at who created AJ Brown.
He didn't create AJ Brown, dude. AJ Brown never had 1,100. He didn't even have like 1,100, 1,200 yards. He goes to the Eagles, a not even very high pass game, and immediately has back-to-back 1,400 yard seasons. He got unlocked getting away from there. Did we lose? We lost to Sean. All right, we grabbed Gino.
Yeah, but we're taking Gino.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dude, he never had 1,100 yards with the Titans. AJ Brown, he held back AJ Brown. He didn't fucking unlock AJ Brown. AJ Brown's AJ Brown, dude. You can't tell me he held back AJ Brown. Oh my god! I mean, he unlocked AJ Brown. AJ Brown was unlocking himself. God created AJ Brown. Nick's got it in the chat. God created AJ Brown.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. You got me fired up about AJ Brown. Mims is great. Let's do it. We need a receiver.
I think one of my hottest non-Cabal approved takes this season is that there's going to be a little bit of a re-reckoning on Arthur Smith.
Oh my god!
You'll never get that from me. The thing that we hated about Arthur Smith was that he would lie to us, and he would talk down to like literally you and I specifically. He would like literally talk down to people who like fantasy football, but he also generated the #1 scoring offense, the #1 yards per play offense with Ryan Tannehill. So like I'm leaving it open.
Dude, that was leaving it open years ago.
It was 2019.
And that was mostly because of Derrick Henry. Like you have prime Derrick Henry and young AJ Brown in your offense. I could coordinate that offense to a
well, high... he's got George Pickens and Jalen Warren now.
That's
same thing.
A little bit of a different situation, but
you're telling me prime Jalen Warren is not as good as Derrick Henry?
It's not
They're
just
kicking you off chip chasing. Your legendary upside subscription just got canceled
because I don't think Jalen Warren's as good as prime Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Warren's incredible. I did that film show with Christopher Harris, and the prompt was to grab 5 players we just love watching on film and talk about it. And picked Jalen Warren as one of my 5 favorite players. He's so much freaking fun to watch play football. I also picked AJ Brown. Spoiler alert, there's 2 of the 5. But the Arthur Smith stuff in the last couple of years still matters.
I'm granting all of this. Like, Arthur Smith is a dinosaur. Arthur Smith doesn't understand why you need to throw the ball, yada, yada. Like, I concede all of this. But I do think there's going to be a little bit of maybe this guy is not the worst in the world at his job when he doesn't have Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder.
Okay, fine. But like, his quarterbacks are still not going to be good. I'm fine with you saying that he's not going to be the worst at his job and he's going to look vaguely okay. That's fine. But it's not just that he was like talking down in the fantasy industry. It's that they were dead last in pass rate over expected last year. They were second to last the year prior. They sucked. Their quarterback play sucked. Okay, that's fine. But it's also I'm going to scheme touches for Jonnu and not use Kyle Pitts effectively. It's not using your talent effectively. It's trying to fit. It's trying to fit talent to scheme instead of scheme to talent. Good coaches, in my mind, fit scheme to talent. Arthur Smith is very stubborn. This is like a legit take. This is not the bad vibes Arthur Smith stuff.
He's extremely
tries
stubborn.
So hard to fit talent to scheme. He's trying to make really good players fit what he wants them to do rather than understanding their strengths and elevating the way that he should. Like, that's the thing that Bill Belichick did amazing for years. He had one offense with Randy Moss and Wes Welker. He had an entirely different offense with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. He had different types of run offenses over the years. He used guys like Kevin Falk effectively out of the backfield, way different than he used guys like Corey Dillon and Lawrence Maroney. Every player was used the way that he should be used because Bill Belichick's a scheme encyclopedia. Arthur Smith is like, I know how to design a run game, and he does, and everyone's going to do it the way that I know how to design a run game. And that's just like, you're not a good enough coach for me, man. There's 32 jobs. There's 32 offensive design.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would prefer him to be not an offensive coordinator. I think it's like it's definitely you can see how it goes so wrong. Like, he way overuses Najee Harris. He's doing the fancy shit with Cordarrelle Patterson. He's like playing Van Jefferson over Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin. Like, you don't even have to squint to see how bad it goes for sure.
Yeah.
God damn, running backs got 8 up in this room. All the good backdoor running backs are gone.
I mean, your boy Generic Prince is there. We got to get a chief.
This is my first one.
Well, Roshan Johnson's the other. Okay, well, we take Prince. Roshan Johnson's the other one because we have the Seahawks stuff going.
True.
Do we need another back? Where are we at structurally?
We have A-Chain, Walker, Dowdle, Jaleel, Prince. We do probably want one more, but we could probably do it with our 18th round pick.
Yeah, I think. Do you not want to get the Bears bring back with Roshan? What are you thinking wide receiver wise?
Tolbert.
Throw Tolbert onto the Dallas thing.
Tolbert. That's what we should do.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
There was
so what's our?
I was surprised there was a little bit of buzz going on with him this morning. Right now we have a 2.582 Dak doubled, Geno tripled actually. A-Chain, Walker, Dowdle, Jaleel, Prince at running back, Lamb, Metcalf, Hollywood, JSN, Judy, Downs, Mims, Tolbert, Pitts, and Njoku at tight end.
This team slaps, and honestly, I think we could stop at 5 with both A-Chan and Walker, and then Dowdle and McLaughlin as these like very usable weak types in the middle. I think we're good at running back. I mean, at wide receiver. I think we're good at QB, and I think we're good at tight end. I think this is a true luxury pick in the 18th round, which is kind of nice. We can just kind of take best player available. If we want to add, we probably don't want to add a third tight end to the build, but any other position, I think you could justify adding. Probably not going to be QB either now that Nix is gone and all these dudes are already gone.
Could be Fields, people are saying.
Could be Fields. A little bring back on the Prince and this is a team for Fields. I like it.
Yeah, I'm officially starting week 1, and then he'll get benched, then he'll come back. That's where I'm at with Fields now.
Nice.
I think I was saying this to Corain and to Sherman. I think the calf injury bought them just enough of an out. That bought the Steelers front office just enough of an out to be like, we've made a terrible mistake, but let's just go ahead and bail ourselves from the mistake because Russell Wilson got injured.
Sorry, what was because Russell Wilson got injured?
Wilson has so they said, they told Russ, like, oh, you're going to start. You're starting week 1, man.
Yeah.
He got a calf injury, and I think that's going to buy them just enough to be like, well, Russ, you were injured in camp, and Justin was kind of there for the install, yada, yada. So I think we're going to go with Justin.
I love it. Josh Cooper's giving us live intel from the chat here, though. He says Russell Wilson's throwing dimes in camp today. I mean, you could say that in the chat, and like,
I'd believe you.
I'm assuming you saw that somewhere and it's a thing. And like, honest to God, you could just make up any bullshit you want. And it's like, yeah, I heard the other day that Russell Wilson was throwing dimes in camp. Like, I heard it from Josh Cooper, who
I did forget this. I did forget that there's a trade kicker that turns it into like a 3rd round pick if he plays extra snaps or something.
Oh, wow. They're holding him back.
Yeah. Meatwad confirming a dot to Van Jefferson. Absolute dot.
Oh my God. Dot to Van Jefferson.
Man, the 18th round is getting real fucking gross the closer we get to the season. The more that we learn.
Like Juwan and Theo both. I still don't understand Juwan in the 18th though, man. Okay, he got a little bit of an injury, but like they need an underneath weapon. He had a career high targets per out run last year. He was a late position switch and has gotten better at playing tight end every year. Like, dude's a fucking smash as your second tight end. He's probably going to get plenty of volume. He's the volume play at the end of drafts. He goes in the 18th. I don't know. You should not. It is getting sharper, and I just see Juwan Johnson still going in the 18th, and I'm like, this is the outlier. What is happening here? Dude, Roshan's gonna make it all the way back as a bring back on our Geno triple.
Maybe Blake
if I didn't just jinx it. Yeah,
it's fine. There's another good running back for us to take too.
He made it. Was the other one Shipley on the Dallas stuff? We could have done that.
No,
too.
Lauby.
Oh, your boy. That's right. I took him in a sprint the other day to close out a sprint.
He's now
getting to the end.
He's now achieved unironic good pick. Now, like for a little while, it was ironic, and now it's now it's non-ironic.
I mean, there's a lot of fragility ahead of him in that backfield. It's definitely possible.
I believe he's got the fastest 3-cone and short shuttle of the whole backfield.
Okay.
So
Sean was telling me he only had a 4.5 yards per carry at New Hampshire, and I'm like, if I wanted to be Danny Woodhead, I want to hear that he did 2,700 rushing yards like Danny Woodhead did at Shred on State.
He was like actually like a better pass catcher than a rusher. Like he was like not a particularly efficient rusher at the University of New Hampshire. He was a very good pass catcher, which, that's all we need. That's all we need.
I guess. Yeah, that's what we're shooting for. I am taking him some. I definitely see it.
Clay, I'm grinding the Athletic. You're grinding the NFL Network training camp live shots to see who's running with the ones. This is what I need. I cannot find this information. Who is rotating in with DJ Shark with Herbert? Is it Quentin Johnson or is it Brennan Rice? Someone get me this information. It's pretty important and pretty relevant information because I will fucking die before I take a 15th round DJ Shark in.
What was the information? Sorry.
Who is rotating in? Who is rotating in behind with Shark? Is it QJ or is it Brennan Rice?
Oh, wow. I'm taking a ton of Shark. I'm fucking.
Oh, all right. We can come back to that.
You figured out where the Shark stuff is coming from. I'll tell you pretty quickly why it is. If you look at like his yards per out run declining the last few years, it's not his efficiency, especially if you control for ADOT and some of the situational stuff. It's just the targets per out run have declined because of the offenses and the ways that defenses have played. A lot of guys,
he's the sacrificial X wide receiver.
Right. A lot of guys that play like him have seen that decline over the last 4 years. It's the Gabe Davis thing too. Gabe Davis is still good yards per target. His targets per out run every year dropping 2 percentage points. Less and less and less Gabe Davis. But I think this offense with the run heaviness and the play action and the longer drops off play action actually gives room for him to run like 15-yard intermediate routes that he's actually efficient on and he has a good quarterback with now. I think he's the best Chargers wide receiver pick probably at cost. Like it actually is a long developing play action based wide receiver route offense where he could actually get some target.
DJ Shark absolutely blows, dude.
You're drafting Brendan Rice. He's got Jerry Rice's blood in him.
DJ Shark, his last 4 seasons of playing in football, he's got less than 2,000 receiving yards. Maybe he's, you know what? I'll say this. I'm gonna leave my back door open to being right. He could definitely score 8 touchdowns because I think Herbert's that good. Like I do actually like. I think Herbert. I think he's a great player, but I'm betting on. I'll be the only person in Best Ball Mania with multiple Brendan Rice teams, and I'm fine with that.
Of course you are.
All right, we got to sauce the panel.
I love these at the last 4 yards and totaled it up when he had his only 1,000-yard season 5 years ago. For anyone who's keep taking notes, Shark did have a 1,000 season 5 years ago.
This is to me, DJ Shark is no different than these people doing the fucking Demarcus Robinson thing.
Oh, I'm also drafting Demarcus Robinson.
I bet you are.
You're drafting Brendan Rice. I bet you are.
I'm drafting Jordan Whittington too. I'm
Who the fuck is that? That's not even a person.
Oh, dude, you're gonna learn. You better learn Jordan Whittington, buddy.
I've seen the name. Like that's not a what?
He is Ben Skoranek with some juice. You decide. Decide if you like that or not. You decide if you like that or not. We got a sauce number 10 here. He did the double elite quarterback. He did the non-stack double elite quarterback. Brian Thomas, Najee, bro. This is not good.
You don't have anyone stacked with Josh Allen? So we got Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson. We got Najee, Blake Corum.
I guess he got sniped on Samuel and on Shakir. But man, A.D. Mitchell behind Alec Pierce right now. Marshawn Lloyd ahead of ADP when he's like one of the biggest. He's got the Ray Davis.
Oh, he's got Ray Davis stacked with Josh Allen.
I respect this guy because this guy, very blessed indeed. He has like 85% exposure to guys. Like he goes ham. Like he's got more dorks than I do. But
I will say I appreciate the Mac Hollins pick. I actually think that was a reasonable last round selection.
Oh, sure. Brendan Rice is terrible, but Mac Hollins is a good pick.
On this build where he didn't get any of the other Buffalo guys, I would probably I kind of like that. I think people would probably click MVS first, and MVS probably going to play a lot, but MVS is bad, man. So I like Mac Hollins maybe a little bit better than that, honestly.
He's got
this team's
85% Javon Baker.
Good luck. He's our 5th receiver. Congrats.
What if he's the first?
He might be.
What if he's the
Might
first?
be.
I can't believe you are a Demarcus Robinson, DJ Shark. Are you taking Tyler Boyd too?
No, God no. He's bad.
Tyler Boyd is the same thing as DJ Shark. It's the veteran who's just different. There. He's a placeholder.
It's different because his profile always scored through volume earning, and he was a really high targets per out run guy in his peak, and then that went away like 3 years ago. He's not been able to earn volume anymore. He's a low ADOT guy. There's no
can get there.
It's efficiency with Shark.
Volume.
Right. That's the play. Is like, and I also think this offense is going to be one that is pretty run based, but then the play action, long developing routes that I was talking about, where the X receiver running these downfield routes. Part of the reason I think Shark was so bad last year is that the Panthers couldn't get the ball down the field to anyone, right? I think he was bad also, but it was just like we're throwing underneath fucking Adam Thielen. Like that's the way we're doing it, You're making a Hall of Fame game.
I meant to do this. I meant to do this earlier in the stream. This is my rationale. So we've got Keenum. I mean, what team could possibly need Keenan Allen to play for them in the Hall of Fame game? I think it's very unlikely that he sees the majority of the snaps. I think they.
Did you say Keenan Allen?
Case Keenum. My bad. My bad.
Okay.
I think we see a shit ton of Tim Boyle. I think we see a lot of Tim Boyle handing the ball off.
Tim Boyle's so bad at football. We'll probably see a good amount of Davis Mills too. He's listed there too.
Yes,
I like
he's higher. But these numbers do I mean, first off, what is this, like roughly 240 passing yards or something like that? Guess what? Teams are not passing for 240.
They're getting about 132, yards. And you're gonna like it.
Yeah, they're getting out. And then this is my hot take: is I think we barely see Bagent play. He is the quarterback 2 behind a rookie quarterback. He might be. In fact, they probably are planning on calling upon him this year. He is like relevant to their plans as a franchise. He's going to play like a drive or 2. So I got under on him.
You don't think there's a competition between him and Brett Rippon?
No. Bagent was a cromulent 53rd best quarterback in the NFL last season. And Brett Rippon has shown that he is not. And this is the gold star lock that all your favorite touts are on, is the hires on Demetric Felton, who is
2 receptions. He's probably going to play 15 snaps, and you're hoping he gets 2 receptions.
You think he's only going to play 15 snaps,
I don't,
bro?
I don't know anything about the playing time tonight, but it would be funny if he didn't play as much as you wanted, because you're picking something that, like, even if he plays the whole game, he might not get 3 receptions.
All right. Well, you need to go back. You need to go back and learn ball and know that Felton is a combo. He was kind of the original Tyrone Tracy. He was a combo wide receiver running back prospect.
No, do you think you just said yourself they're handing off all game tonight? Do you think they're executing?
It's time to learn ball. It's time to learn ball, Gretch.
3 receptions for any running back is a good game.
Official. We did it. I bet it. It's too late. It's over.
I hope he gets there. I hope I'm wrong, but this feels like a weird bet when he's probably not playing the whole game. That's a 50 catch season. You need a 3 catch game. Is it like a 50 catch running back season? Like, that's a good usage role for a workhorse in season to catch 3 balls in a game.
It took me a while to figure out what you guys were talking about. I don't know if this was like a USFL stream that I walked into or what was going on. But,
ETR did some research a couple years ago that running back receptions unders are like the most profitable thing you could do. And Davis is playing the running back receptions overs in the Hall of Fame game.
I know what I'm about. I know what I'm about. What if he plays running back in the first half and wide receiver in the second half?
Well, then you're getting there, because you'll have 3 catches total.
This is the only hire I like in the whole game. Everything else, Jawar Jordan, I would go lower. Mills, I would go lower. Dameon Pierce, I would go lower. Mechie, I would go lower.
But why didn't you do the over on his yards, combined yards, if you think he's going to play a bunch?
What if he catches 3 passes on the first drive?
We just don't know.
What if Wandale gets 40 carries? Gretch, tell the people about stealing signals, and then you can go about your day.
And then fuck off. Davis is like, I've had enough of you. BenGretch.substack.com is where the newsletter is. Stealing Bananas Pod, Ship Chasing Pod, which I'll be on in 2 hours after Davis is done here. Yeah, take it easy.
Beautiful. Gretch, thank you for hopping on. You did... Sam, you did just miss out on some good DJ Shark chatter.
DJ Shark better than T. Higgins, right?
According to Gretch, Gretch would take him in the 4th round, I've heard.
Better than T. Higgins and Brendan Rice, both of those guys.
Yeah. All right, there we go. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Yeah, looking forward to, as I mentioned last time I was on here, in a state where I can't draft underdog right now, so these are always fun for me.
Yeah, you're picking up some good equity here. All you have to do is just get through the Demetric Felton chatter.
Exactly. Yeah, I took me a while to realize what team Demetric Felton was even on.
They don't have you doing grinding preseason blurbs in the ETL Discord.
No, I have not gone to the depths of the preseason stuff. I mean, I am reading athletic articles on whether Juju Smith-Schuster or Tyquan Thornton is ahead in the Patriots wide receiver 6 conversation. So that's the level I'm going to, but
what's the answer?
There's a blurb or athletic article that just came out. Juju's having a terrible camp, looks slow. Tyquan Thornton,
shocking.
Surprisingly looks good, before they put pads on, as he always does. But yeah. That's the alpha right there. If you're looking for the wide receiver 6 in New England,
I suppose that is exactly how you would think. You would think that Tyquan would look really good in practice, where no one could tackle him, and Juju would look terrible in practice because all that, Like Juju's one skill of just like being able to run like 7-yard routes when he's healthy, like does not matter in practice, is not impressive in practice at all.
Yeah, and he's like probably a decent like blocker and stuff at this point in his career. But yeah, I hope as a Patriots fan, again, probably no one wants to hear Taekwon versus Juju on the stream, so we can cut it off.
No, this is this is exactly what I think what people want. If you're watching a 4-hour best ball stream, then you definitely are. Are you believing this bullshit, the Joe Milton stuff?
Come on. No, that's garbage. And even if it was true, like who cares? We kind of knew what we were getting ourselves into with the Drake May thing. He's a raw prospect. I don't believe that he's looking worse than Joe Milton. And yeah, it is what it is. I don't expect a raw prospect to look amazing in the first 2 weeks of training camp in his rookie year. Not a big deal.
Wow. Tyreek at 4. I don't think I can pass that up just for the combos, right?
Yeah. Let's do it. Is that because they banned cheat motion and everyone's freaking out?
Yeah, very constant color up, who I've known for a long time. It's funny that he's in here, and very blessed indeed. They said, you know what? No, we don't need it. They said it's cheat motion. What's the guy Florio Pro Football Talk? He said it's over. He said it's over for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's my interpretation of it is that it always has been the rule that you technically can't do cheat motion. It's just maybe a signal that the officials are going to be looking to call it more frequently than they did last year. Like you've never been able to run forward before the ball is snapped. That's always been illegal. It's just like maybe an emphasis of the rule. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
They're not going to call it, dude. The NFL wants points to be scored. Trust me. They very much do not want people to be turned off. Like they know how bad like Thursday Night Football, the Tim Boyle game on Black Friday. Like they don't want that. There is not a world where Milton is the guy and not me. I mean, trust me, I wanted Joe Milton to be a thing. I mean, Joe Milton is fucking cool. Joe Milton is like 6'4", 240, like built like a bullet train. He literally throws his ball looks so good. It looks like it's AI generated, but he cannot make accurate passes. It's great. I don't know if you put Phillip Rivers' brain in Joe Milton's body, you'd have the greatest football player of all time.
Yeah, maybe like what's Joe Milton's ceiling in the NFL? Like getting a Taysom Hill package, maybe at some point in his career.
Joe Webb.
Yeah,
Joe Webb like started a playoff game for the Vikings. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, it is always interesting.
Quarterback.
Yeah, it is interesting when teams take 2 quarterbacks in the same draft. Like it always reminds me of the Kirk Cousins RG3 situation, which again, I think it's very unlikely to happen. But I guess if you're saying there's a world, we have seen it once before where it played out like that, where the second guy became good. But I don't think that's happening in New England.
Yes, and okay, we are about to pick. See, this. I mean, pretty good combo here. Ayuk, you think?
I like Waddle? Ayuk here. Yeah, good with Ayuk.
Would have preferred A-Chain, but whatever, it's fine.
Ayuk or Waddle is good there. I think Miami plays San Francisco in week 16. I think.
If you accept you're wrong 50% of the time, you should take 2 of whatever position you're drafting. I guess I always take us. Oh, as an NFL team.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Joe Milton. Yeah.
No, so like I like low key think it's sharp. Actually, like pretty much every instance of it is pretty good. Like it also avoids ending up in any of those spots where the veteran guy like is mad about it. Although, didn't you say there was a story where like Zappy was like, wait, what do you mean Drake May gets to start? Like, wasn't like Bailey Zappi like mad they took Drake May or something? Which is, I mean, that is an extremely good bit. That is extremely hilarious. Good content. All right, we neighbors or you a Kyron Bull? Or TJ Moore.
Let's see. I'm honestly good with. Let's do neighbors. Just in case this draft gets wide receiver heavy. I think Kyron's a pretty good pick there too, but
he is.
I think it's a fun start. Can't really go wrong there.
Pairing Rice and Addison on teams that start wide receiver heavy. I mean, that made more sense when you could get Rashee Rice in the 7th, 8th round. I mean, that was a crazy time. That was a crazy time to live through.
Yeah, I know. I definitely took advantage of it somewhat. I'm definitely a little mad at myself of just not going all in on Rashee Rice during that period. But yeah, I guess we still don't know, right? Like the thing with Rashee, it's just like we still don't know the date of the criminal trial. And until we know that, it's still just like really hard to predict what's going to happen. I think things are shifting towards him avoiding a suspension this year, but we just don't know, right?
I personally think every day that we have no news, it's less and less likely that the trial resolves itself in time to get him suspended. Yeah, Packers, great job of this. They just like young wide receivers, young tight ends. Let's just keep taking them because we need them.
Yeah,
they probably should have taken. I mean, I guess when you get down to Bo Melton as wide receiver 5, I mean the Bo Melton bros, they are legion, and they are correct.
Yeah.
I've ran really hot on draft spots today. I don't think I'm not picked later than 5th today. So all the teams look pretty good. Oh, Sam, I'm gonna go pee while you give this answer. Give your answer to the imaginary player that drops 50 in week 17 and 0 the rest of the season. Where are you taking him in Best Ball Mania?
Yeah, I heard this question on Twitter or wherever. Someone surfaced it. I guess it was Davis's Discord, right? 50 is so many points in half PPR. Like that has to have only occurred, I don't know, 5 times in the last decade that a player scored 50 points. Maybe the Jamar Chase game, that Alvin Kamara, like crazy 6 touchdown game around Christmas a couple years ago. It's such a crazy ceiling game that it gives you such an edge that I think it has to be like a 1st or 2nd round pick. Because if you get that team there, it's such a massive odds boost to your finals win rate. So yeah, I would say probably like a 1-2 turn pick, I think. But I do get the case for 101, but I still think like Christian McCaffrey can have a 40-point game right in the finals. Like that's not that crazy.
It's happened more times than you think. The 50-point game, obviously more in full PPR, the full PPR versus the half PPR really swings it. I looked it up. I'll pull it up again because I don't really remember, but I believe there were 0 50-point games. I think even the Pickens and the Cooper games in half PPR were not 50-point games. So it's a lot of fucking points. It's a lot of points. Yeah, everyone is privy to the information in this scenario. Damn, I really thought there was a chance that we were going to get a crazy weird combination and Josh Allen was going to come all the way around.
Yeah, that'd have been nice.
All right, what do we do?
We got the Cleveland, Miami. If we want to take Amari, I'm fine with going with one of the elite tight ends here. Maybe is Jackson already gone? In which case,
Lamar already went. Yeah.
Even Hurts naked. I don't think it's terrible here. I'd probably go Amari.
Let's see if Hurts comes back around.
Yeah.
Yeah. T. Higgins could hypothetically score 0 all year, drop 50 in the finals. Yes. Yeah. People are saying that we have seen 0 points. And so the thing is in this hypothetical, it's a requirement to win because everyone's privy to the information, which means somebody is going to get there with him. So like 666,000 teams divided by 12. There's 100,000 teams or whatever.
But the thing is, there's only 5. Like I would actually be curious in like doing that out a little bit more. Like there's only 500 teams that are in the finals. If there's a 1st round pick that gives you 0 points weeks 1 through 16, that player's advance rate to the finals has to be so low that like, I don't know. I'd have to look into it in past years. I would guess there's guys that only advance to the finals at like a 1% or even 0% rate if they're that bad of picks. So like, here I'd probably go James Cook just because we have gone pretty wide receiver heavy.
He's too scared. He's too scared to really piss.
I like James Cook a lot. I think like a lot of the upside case that people are making with Dalton Kincaid of like, well, he didn't really do it last year, but Diggs is gone. He's going to be the focal point of the offense. I think in like a weird way, you can make that case about Cook. Like he had what, like 1,600 yards from scrimmage last year, which is a pretty good baseline to start with. And I would think that like he is their best player with the ball in his hands on the offense, you know, compared to Kincaid or even some of the wide receivers, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised if
isn't Coleman theoretically the best?
Yeah, I mean Coleman's a really good yak guy too, but
famously outproduced Jaden Reed at Michigan State their year together.
Yeah. I'm pretty in on Coleman too, especially on underdog. Like he's one of the few wide receivers in that range that goes later on underdog than he does on DraftKings, because all the spreadsheet socialists who filter by targets for route run like think he's terrible on underdog. But yeah, man, he's just got a good opportunity. I'm pretty in on Coleman around 80 ADP.
I'm not really, but like that's a guy that I think that being out on could just like murder me, right? It could just not really that hard to see how like a big body touchdown scoring wide receiver who like wins jump balls could kill you with Josh Allen. Like that's like that guy could score 12 touchdowns as a rookie, like very easily. This is my new favorite thing drafts is where Worthy, Rice, and Hollywood are like going like all right next to each other, like literally back-to-back picks of Rashee Worthy. What people are doing that I think is so smart that 5 years ago no one would have done in fantasy is everyone would have like really strong player takes Worthy, Rice, and Brown.
Yep.
And now people are just like, oh, it's just Chiefs wide receiver. Just like whichever guy's there, it doesn't matter. I just want a Chiefs wide receiver.
Yeah, that's honestly what I think you're lying to yourself a little bit if you have a really strong take on
a really strong take.
Yeah. Even like, because I think Davis, we're like more open to Marquise Brown than like Pat, and I don't know. I've heard the leg up rankings.
Yeah, they're wrong. Although Gretch was just on, and he's into Hollywood, so
yeah.
it's not everyone, but yeah, they are such ages that even a 27-year-old Hollywood Brown is past it.
Yeah, it's also like, man, like miss me with the Clayton Tune stats from
you're telling me Hollywood Brown was giving it his all playing with Clayton Tune and Josh Dobbs. I think he would be insane to have been giving it his all in those scenarios.
Yeah. Again, first round pick. Let's see, what do we have here? I guess we can definitely still wait on quarterback, right?
Yeah. We have Reek, Ayuk, Neighbors, Amari, and Cook. We are about up on the clock. This is definitely another wide receiver pick. I would like it to be I want it to be McConkey. I'm trying to get more Chargers bags. I think
I'm good with McConkey. Yeah.
I wonder if wide receiver or quarterback 17 Justin Herbert might end up like by like week 4 being in like just being like, what were we doing? We were taking Tua and Goff and Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert. What collectively just happened to all of us to make us do that?
I know. It reminds me a little bit of the freak out about Kellen Moore leaving Dallas last year and Mike McCarthy taking over, and everyone's like, "Oh, Dallas is going to be so run heavy. Mike McCarthy's such a dolt."
And they were for like a month, and then they decided, no, they decided let's actually play to our strengths.
Yeah, these guys aren't like, think what you think about John Harbaugh and Greg Roman. They realize that Justin Herbert is a better option than Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins off an Achilles tear. Like come on, they know.
That's what I've been thinking is like Harbaugh might be an idiot, but he also would prefer to win games, and it's easier to win games with Herbert than with Gus. Yeah.
Here, let's see what this guy does. I kind of like Kenneth Walker at this price.
I love Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
and we've got Tua, we've got Purdy, we've got Dimes, we've got Watson, we've got Herbert.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of back doors open. The quarterback, Meatwad, ask me if I care, dude. I don't. I don't care. You're gonna try and convince me to care, and I won't.
That's also like not that bad of a 17 game pace. That's what, like 900 yards maybe and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's like wide receiver 30-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and he had the heel injury again. Like I'm not saying like I'm all in on Hollywood. I was just making the point that it's such a different situation that comparing his stats with the past 2 years with the quarterback play in a Patrick Mahomes offense is like, I don't know. I just think people do a little bit too much of like the copy paste yards per route run from this completely different situation and bring it over to a completely new environment and expect it's going to hold. Like, just not how the NFL works all the time.
Yeah. Great hypothetical question here. When will you select T. Higgins? How far does he have to fall?
The funniest part about this T. Higgins bit is that I actually like don't have any hot takes about T. Higgins at 80. Like I take him like around ADP. Like maybe I'm like have the slightest of fades on him, but like no, I don't have any hot takes about it. I mean, the Bengals are a team I like. I do think his stats, as you talked about in ADP chasing, his stats are definitely skewed by
they're
some
fake stats. They're fake stats. They could be completely disregarded. Just if you need to think about T. Higgins, just think about the fact that all the coolest plays of his career got ruled out of bounds by like half an inch. Like remember that crazy touchdown where he's in the back of he like reaches over the pylon and it got ruined. It got ruined by like being like marginally out of bounds. It's like he's had a lot of crazy, like T. Higgins is a great player and Joe Burrow is a good quarterback and Yoshi Boss and Chase Brown are gonna blow the whole thing wide open. Yeah, the best argument for Hollywood is that Juju was on pace to be like the wide receiver 17 and then like died immediately. Like immediately left the team. Damn, Bowers went. I really would have loved to have taken Brock Bowers on this team.
Do we still have? Well, I won't blow it, but
all our quarterback doors are still open.
Yep. I guess whatever. It doesn't matter if we get sniped. Isn't Njoku still available? Because he's interesting in this build with Miami plus Amari pieces.
He is. Also, I am thinking of the wrong play. That in the end, that specific play I was mentioning did get ruled a touchdown.
I think there was a review. I was thinking about it. I think it might have been reviewed. That was such a sick that T. Higgins play from last year. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Got to take the ADP value here with Ramondre.
Ramondre or
Najee. Ramondre or Najee. Up to you.
Let's do Ramondre for the mini Charger stuff.
And for the bit. Why am I so hot for Brock Bowers? He's Brock Bowers, dude. He led Georgia as a true freshman in receiving, playing with 5 other NFL players, including 2 other first-round picks. Yeah. And the Raiders have already confirmed that the non-Kyle Pitts thing, which is that he's already getting the easy shit. They're already giving him the bullshit. Like first day of training camp, he's getting screens and 7-yard crossers, which is just like Kyle Pitts should be the, why are you giving me your toughest battles meme comparatively. Like it's so annoying. Imagine you're Kyle Pitts' agent and you watch Brock Bowers come in and get 40 free receptions. You'd just be like, what are we doing here? We're not resigning with you.
Yeah. I think the other thing for Bowers that's like a little underrated is I expect the Raiders to lead the NFL in 12 personnel usage. Like their wide receiver 3 depth chart is so thin with Gallup now retired. Like Trey Tucker's getting terrible camp reviews. And it's just going to be Mayer, Bowers, Jacoby Myers, and Devontae Adams. And those types of personnel groupings are really good for tight ends because he's not competing with like a good third slot receiver for targets. He's competing with Michael Mayer, who maybe is a decent tight end, but like that's so much better of a setup. I like Njoku a lot here if you do.
Yeah. This team
I just think
it's. I was saying maybe we could take Chase Brown here, but it's fine.
Let me give you the bull case a little bit for Njoku because I got the sense you weren't that excited about him.
No, I'm not, but I would love to hear it.
So let me pull this up because I was on a JJ's podcast yesterday. So everyone hypes up Trey McBride's stretch run last year, right? Like once he took the starting job from week 8 to 18, he averaged 15 PPR points per game. 27% targets per route run. Like that's an insane targets per route run.
That is insane. Yeah.
What did David Njoku do during that same stretch? Now, admittedly, this overlapped with the crazy Joe Flacco stuff, so we can get into that. But during that same stretch, Njoku averaged more PPR points per game than McBride, 16 to McBride's 15, and had the same exact insane targets per route run, 27%. That was playing alongside Amari Cooper for a lot of that. I think maybe Cooper was banged up in 1 or 2 of those games, but his insane stretch run. And again, like it's because of Joe Flacco. That's, you can attribute some of that to that. I feel like it's not being priced into ADP at all. Like he absolutely crushed it down the stretch, like was the tight end 1 over that period. And people are like, Deshaun Watson's back, so I don't care. Now, like, what if that carries over to next year? What if they saw how dominant he was and want to incorporate him like with the Deshaun Watson offense, not just
that's what they've said. That's what the coaching staff said. The coaching staff, like, they didn't. He calls him Dave, which I thought was weird. It's like, no, he's David Njoku. He's not Dave. Calling him Dave is weird. I don't know.
That does make me a little bearish on him.
No, that's reverse. That must show that they're real close to get away with calling him a nickname like that. But yeah, which actually makes sense because Cooper is older, Judy is bad, and then what are you going to get out of Cedric Tillman or Elijah Moore? It makes sense to kind of have Njoku sort of be the workhorse there.
Yeah.
All of our quarterbacks other than Purdy are still there. I think we got to take Spears here, right?
Good with Spears. Yeah, what is that? Like 10 picks of ADP value.
Spears. Yeah, it's definitely.
And then I think we get one of our quarterbacks coming back. See what the room gives us.
Yeah, I agree.
Um.
Someone said something interesting in chat, and then I missed it. Oh, if you think Chase Brown over Zach Moss is overthinking it, tell that to the Bengals, who are literally doing that with their personnel decision. Try and learn ball, Andy B. Try and learn ball.
Yeah, the comments. Njoku got his face burned off and then played 2 days later.
Dog.
Absolute dog.
You want to talk about something that's going to endear you to a coaching staff. That is going to endear you to a coaching staff. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Njoku was like always one of those guys where he would be good in a limited sample, there'd be like a 3-game stretch where he'd look quite good. And then he'd go back to not getting the ball. And you'd just be like, well, what's going on? What's the deal?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really move forward up a ton with I guess we're just assuming Foreman's not going to make the team now. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Early reports seem like not as scary for Foreman, which is obviously great. That sounded really terrifying for a bit. Yeah, man, I don't know. I kind of feel like they don't think Ford is a goal line back, and they might just sign like Kareem Hunt to do the dirty work before Chubb comes back or whatever. I mean, I like Herbert better than Tua, but ADP game, I think we take Tua and hope.
Nah, dude.
Let's just snowball here.
The title of this video is getting the must draft players in 2024 fantasy football.
Okay. And there we go.
Justin Herbert is one of the must draft players in fantasy, or has a chance to be. Tua is 0% to be the guy.
We also have the Waddle guy like pinned around the turn too, right? So unless someone reaches for a naked Tua, we can get both.
We in the last draft or 2 drafts ago, Tua went all the way down to pick 145 or something, and then we told the guy, even with Waddle, we were like, you still shouldn't have done it as your third quarterback. Like you just gotta sometimes you just gotta let it go. Yeah, I did just see this on Twitter. Another insane Wix red zone thing. It feels like from reading between the lines of Packers camp, and trust me, there's literally not anyone on earth, including like Packers fans, who's more in the weeds. Last night I was watching Packers.com interviews because they're not transcribed anywhere, just to see if anyone said anything interesting. Spoiler alert, nothing interesting. But it sounds like Wicks is the red zone guy. It sounds like that's kind of their plan, is that Wicks is, because he's the best route runner, like he's so quick, that is their plan for him. So bullish.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think it was Dobbs last year that got a lot of that work. I'd have to look into the numbers, but I think I do remember that he had a pretty big like red zone target share last year. So if that goes to Wicks in year 2, which would make sense. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't want to repeat the same Packers take I've said a bunch of times, but I just think that like aside from Reed, I think they're all like pretty good picks. And even Watson's maybe getting a little expensive, where I'd say like I think Dubs and Wicks are my favorite.
Are you woke enough to take Bo Melton?
If I have Jordan Love, I'm taking Bo Melton 18th round for sure.
What Andy, what do you mean by this? Vegas would agree Moss is the play as well. I mean, what do you think that means? And you're like, what in your mind, what do you think that means? This is one of my biggest pet peeves. When did underdog drop more low entry mid stakes turn? I bet they wait until maybe they do it tonight when the game launches, because normally they do it on Wednesdays, but they didn't do it on Wednesday, which leads me to believe they have a plan. That's my guess.
Well, like our plan worked out pretty well with Tua coming back.
Yeah, all right, we got him. Bang bang. So
yeah.
we are done at we are done at quarterback. We've got Ladd and Tua. We've got 4 running backs. We're in a very dead range of wide receiver. I mean, this screen right here: Pearsall, Burton, Douglas, QJ, Bateman, Thielen, Wandale, Michael Wilson, Demarcus Robinson, Troy Franklin. It's like, buddy.
Yikes.
I don't feel that good.
We have 3 running backs or 4 right now?
4. We could take another, though. We could take another.
Yeah.
I think we're done at, well, no, we could take a tight end as well if we wanted.
Yeah, like Cole Kmet's not a guy I take a ton, but I don't know. He seems fine just given our build, but maybe one of these running backs is a better pick, like Chandler or Algier. Kmet goes.
This is, again, why are we trying to be annoying? Okay, sure. I'll put 20K on Zach Moss under 850 yards. Totally, dude. That's absolutely what I'm gonna do. No, I don't have any hate for Tua. It's just like Tua is the most. I would say Tua is the number 1 quarterback who's unlikely to win Best Ball Mania, not correlated to his teammates. Like literally the number 1.
If we're gonna go wide receiver, I'd throw out Pearsall with just like we already have
Ayuk.
So betting on like a Kittle or Debo injury. If we're gonna do running, I think running back also makes sense with. Oh wait, they kind of got wiped out.
Jalen Wright.
You
are not a Jalen Wright, bro.
I'm not a Jalen Wright guy, but I let the team stack stuff override my biases. I think on a Tua team, it's fine.
All right. Bang, Jalen Wright. I don't love his QJ's ADP is still there because of the anchor effect and because it'll take a little while. But trust me, QJ is heading. What is QJ's ADP on August 15th, Sam? I bet it's worse than wide receiver 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the 170s, 180s. Seems about like where he'll settle. At which point, like I don't know, maybe I'm just biased still because I've been like anti DJ Shark for several years, but I'd still take him over Shark. Like
I would still take him. I would still take him over Shark too. But the last 2 drafts I've done, Shark has gone before, which we might be jumping the DJ Shark at this point. I'm the only one woke enough and brave enough to be a patriot for Brendan Rice. I'm the only one who's willing to stand up for a Nepo baby.
Yeah, I mean, I just want a little bit more confirmation he's going to make the team, but because I get a little nervous of like the just complete zero aspect of it with Brendan Rice. But if he makes the team, then I think there's a decent chance he at least gets a chance, like gets a tryout at some point in the season. So we'll see on that.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe we take Quentin Johnston on this team. We might.
Yeah, it's could be fine. I do like how we've structured this team, like hammering, was it 5 wide receivers in the first 6 rounds, maybe? And then just completely stopping at wide receiver for a while. I like that type
Ayuk,
of build a
Neighbors, Amari, Ladd. The key is we gonna have to get a little bit lucky with our next guy, because when you take the 6th and the 7th guy are total zeros, then it feels a little thin. Colin Cowherd just tweeted, "Keep your eyes out," eyes emoji for Brandon Ayuk news.
Oh,
perhaps relevant, perhaps not. I think
he get traded to the Chargers?
I think he's just gonna get a contract extension. What are you gonna because you're gonna trade Brandon Ayuk? Like, they are about to be in a bad spot contract wise next offseason. So next season they're gonna have 30-year-old Debo, 31-year-old Kittle, 29-year-old CMC, and Ayuk is going to be their only young, and you're telling me they're going to trade the young? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. I really think an extension makes way more sense than a trade. And then this next offseason, they'll probably find a way to unload Debo. Maybe even
the Carolina Panthers would love to have Debo Samuel.
Yeah. It makes such little sense to Ayuk's like a rare commodity in the NFL. He's like a top 15 NFL wide receiver. I mean, I don't take a ton of Pop Douglas, but he does make sense in the New England bring back thing.
Oh. Yeah. Well, you know what? I got like literally no Pop Douglas, so we could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, it kind of makes sense if there's a shootout that Pop Douglas could PPR scam in week 17. Let's see. John,
I'm worried that he ends up not closing the season for them, that it's Polk, Baker, and Bourne as their 3 primary guys.
Yeah. Are you considering Deshaun at all here? I don't think it's like egregious to go 3 quarterbacks in this team.
I think we're too thin at wide receiver. Like, if we would have gotten crazy value with this last pick, but I think we need 8 wide receivers, probably maybe 9, honestly.
I mean, it's taking him while I fall. I honestly don't think QJ is a terrible pick it's like, it feels disgusting. I get it, but
he'll be there. He'll be there with our next pick. Really?
Okay.
He literally went in the 18th round of my last one.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Denver. If you want to take one of the Denver guys, I think Chargers, Denver, week 16. So
buddy, Stoic. I just took him. What do you mean I don't fundamentally understand? Also, this is, again, we don't need to do this. Like, you could put how many fantasy points would Jerry Rice score on the 2024 New England Patriots, man? Things are dire, dude. Things are dire in New England. It does not sound like anyone's having a fun time there.
No, it really feels like I don't know. I have no idea what the odds are on this, and it's like probably a contrarian take, but like Gerard Mayo, first coach fired. I would like to see what the odds are before I say that's a good bet, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like almost like, I don't want to believe this because I'm a Patriots fan, but it almost feels like they should have just completely ripped the Belichick Band-Aid off and gone with like a Shanahan or like McVay acolyte rather than try to basically just like, it seems like they're just kind of like trying to do Belichick 2.0 with like the next generation. And I'm like, I don't know. It's another hardo head coach who's making his players run wind sprints when they mess up. And it's like, is that going to work? I don't know, man.
No, it's like every coach that gets hired like this. Like, I can't really think of a boomer style coach that has come in. Vrabel is like the best example of one where he came in as a boomer. Yeah, but the head coach in waiting thing, never. Yeah, everyone in New England wanted an outside coach. Yeah, Schefter is saying there's no new deal for Brandon Ayuk, and they've had a really hard time working one out. Stephon, I really would not do this. Sure, I guess maybe, but I really would not do it. I would not draft Royce Freeman. I don't think.
No, I think the Stephen Jones Royce Freeman quote was when you listen to what the actual coaches are saying, like not the owner's son or whatever his title is in Dallas, like the coaches are hyping up Dowdle and saying that Royce Freeman's like a good special teams player. So I don't know. Weirder things have happened than Royce Freeman becoming the starter in Dallas this year. I'm not saying that's impossible, but
sure,
I'm not going there yet.
That is true. Weird thing. I mean, Royce Freeman was like, I believe I had Royce Freeman on several FFPC main event teams last year. Starting with 4 wide receivers, adding a 5th by round 7, and thinking you were thin at wide receiver and need to maybe get to 9. That's fantasy football in 2024, buddy. I don't know. I don't know if you're new here. Schefter has sent 8 straight tweets about Wirfs this morning. I guess Wirfs' agent must be really, really in Schefter's bag.
Do we have is Johnny still available as a stack?
No, he just went.
Okay.
No, he went. He went at the 15-16 turn. What do we got at running back? God damn. This is a really example of fantasy football being dead. Estime going at 179. Where the fuck did Braylon Allen go? 170 for Braylon Allen.
Wow.
I gotta stop tweeting. What do you want to do here?
Can we see tight end? We probably need to. I mean, dude, I would probably go Deshaun at this ADP.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just like
we go to Sean, we go tight end, and then we take Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
189 Deshaun Watson is good. Who do I draft the first 2 rounds? From the 10 spot, take Puka Nacua. In an ESPN league, probably Jonathan Taylor for real. Probably just don't let the libs keep you or make you do a 0 running back team. I think 0 running back is sneaky. 0 running back is sneaky bad in your home league this year because you're not going to be able to get Kenneth Walker in the 7th round. Kenneth Walker is going to go in the 4th round, and you're going to feel really smart, but you're actually going to get beat this year.
I think home league strategy hero RB is
the move.
Best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you QJ would still be here.
Oh wow.
But we can't do it. Well, no, we still can if we want, but we should take a tight end.
Oh, we just went. I would go, Jawan or Chig probably.
Let's make sure the buys are right. Yeah. I just think Jawan is like, now that we know he's back and healthy, we should just treat him like we were before. Allen and Estime are going to be going in the 150s soon, like probably by the end of next week, because the big best ball is now woke. Big best ball is now woke to Estime and Braylon, which is, unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. A-Chain. So I'm working on this cheat sheet right now, basically for like home leagues, and A-Chain is like a 4th or 5th round pick.
Wow.
I mean, isn't that insane?
That's nuts.
Yes, you should keep Brees and CMC and forfeit. Brees and CMC, not Hurts in a home league.
Yeah, I think so. What are you thinking here for like? I think wide receiver versus tight end is a bit of an argument as to what we do here.
Well, I was gonna say, I think we probably take a Browns wide receiver.
Yeah, well, we have them double stacked.
Oh,
already.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't think we take a 3rd tight end. I think you can't do. I don't think you can take 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends.
Okay, So Baker went. He was gonna be the guy I'd throw out there. I mean, Chark, I don't really like. I don't want to take DJ Shark, even though it makes some sense.
I just like I've let people bully me into taking Demarcus Robinson on this stream. I've let people bully me into taking just like some of the worst dog shit. If DJ Shark is who beats me this year, DJ Shark is who beats me this year. And I just sometimes you just got to put your hand up and get beaten.
Odell is, I think I already made you take Odell once. So if you don't want to do that again,
this is you know what? This is a Brendan Rice ass team.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Should we take DJ Shark? Should we do it for the memes? Since I literally just spent about 6 hours saying that he's like the worst pick imaginable.
We probably should. I hate it so much. But 18th round. I mean, that's bad.
All right, so we'll have this one team. We'll have this
that's
one
your
team
one
in the
DJ
back.
Shark team.
When people are we should sauce the ESPN rankings. Okay. This guy drafts the craziest teams. Okay, he's drafting out of the 2-hole. Very blessed indeed. This man has 85% Javon Baker. He loves to get sauced. Takes Bijan at 2. I will say, I mean, I think it's terrible, but I will tell you why I am giving you a slight pass. Because if the combination you need is if Bijan is the running back 1, like if he is the highest scoring guy, Bijan teams still might suck because they might not have enough wide receiver points because the 3rd round picks at his ADP are so bad. Unfortunately, you took DK Metcalf, who I don't love. Cup's fine. Early on Richardson. What do you think about Jameson Williams at 74, dude? What?
Yeah, I don't know about. I like the idea with Bijan. I actually don't hate it, but like I think you got to pair him with 2 wide receivers that are harder to pair him with at his normal spot. Like I think you can get Metcalf and Cup. Yeah, like I would have just gone by ADP if I'm reaching on Bijan and take like top 2 wide receivers.
Pretty early on AD Mitchell, pretty early on Trey Benson. Geno with Metcalf. I mean, I think this is kind of David Kitchen style where it's like I kind of see what you're getting at, and I don't really hate the players, but you're just doing it in such an unconventional way that my streamer brain is broken. I'm like seeing all these combos, and it's not making a ton of sense to me. How many points are you getting from this wide receiver room in week 1? What is Keon Coleman, Jameson Williams, Dontavian Wicks, AD Mitchell project for in week 1?
Yeah, that's.
But I do
2 tight ends with Freiermuth is interesting too.
Oh yeah, I mean whatever, dude. It's fine. Like don't let me tell you what was good or bad. But I don't think this is a very good team, and I think there are smarter and more enlightened ways that you can do the Bijan at 2 thing, including not reaching 30 spots ahead on AD Mitchell, who is going to be on Fallers next week. When we do Fallers, AD Mitchell is big time. Gonna be
it's
on
Alec Pierce's backup in the 9th round.
Like, backup to the most wind sprinting role of all time.
Yeah, look, there's some parts of this team that I really want to like, but there's just enough about it that I can't get fully on board.
Yeah, like I'd love to compliment you for taking Braylon Allen, Ben Sinnott, and Justin Fields, but it just you didn't land the plane. All right, what did we do? Let's see if we made any mistakes. Reek, Ayuk, Neighbors, Amari. Any regrets on not just taking Jalen Hurts there?
No, I like it. I think the Miami stack played with Deshaun. And then, yeah. Well, I guess we have both sides of the Miami game, which is interesting. I don't have any regrets.
Cook is an anchor. I mean, he's got to get like 11.5 touchdowns. He's just got to score touchdowns, and we'll see if he can or not. I don't know. Ramondre, a lad who I'm like really actively trying to get on more teams right now. Walker and Ramondre, you could make a case. Ramondre is the 3rd running back. Like, would we be better off with Wicks or Palmer or Dobbs or Shaheed? You definitely could, right?
Yeah. You could, but we had 5 wide receivers to that point and 5 in the first 6 rounds. So I think you have if you have 5 through 6, I think you have the green light to take a pretty big detour from wide receiver for a while. So I think we could have taken a wide receiver there, but I think it was totally fine structurally.
Is this true? His touchdown line is 4.5. Vegas doesn't know shit. Meatwad, Vegas doesn't know shit if that is true. He's scoring a minimum of 7 touchdowns.
The James Cook upside case is like the Austin Eckler upside case of 3 years ago, where it's just like he doesn't score touchdowns, he doesn't score touchdowns, he doesn't score touchdowns, and then all of a sudden he did. And it's a lot harder to see when Josh Allen is on your team at quarterback, but that's what we're hoping for with James Cook.
Why do we care about early camp depth charts for rookies when their entire thesis is that they're helping you late season more than anything else, especially in later rounds? Because there are some guys who are playing so well or such a part of their team's plans that they are relevant to their teams early in the season. There are many examples of this, but like Troy Franklin being in the wide receiver 6 for Denver is not great. Like that is putting him in the same camp as Brendan Rice, who is going undrafted, 99% of the time. So it is relevant. Spears, Herbert, Tua, we did play that nicely.
Yeah,
I think we kind of had to take Spears.
We got all the quarterbacks super cheap, and all of our running backs, I think, also pretty big ADP values, especially Spears.
We let JJ Zacharyson influence us. I would maybe honestly rather have had Wandale than Douglas, but whatever, it's fine. Juwan Johnson, DJ Shark. I mean, that is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a funny ending. I mean, this team needs I don't know. I think maybe we should have gone three tight ends in this team and taken out Shark. If I could take that back.
What do you think? You think Hayden Hurst or Will Dissly is better than Shark? I mean, I guess it's honestly the same.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. What's the difference between DJ Chark and Will Dissly this year? I mean, I just think that I like Njoku, but Njoku and Juwan, who maybe starts the season a little bit slow, is like on the edge of what I'd want to do at tight end. But I think it was a kind of coin flip there.
Well, let me tell you, anytime that you feel the need to take DJ Shark, you went astray. You didn't do what you needed to do. That is not ideal. This one's fine. We did all right. Not our best.
Very correlated, but that's I don't know. It's not my favorite players, but like double stacks with our quarterbacks, a lot of week 17 and week 16 correlation stuff. So I like that part of it.
Well, that is another $12.50 of Deshaun Watson related equity in your pocket. I hope that we are able to cash those out. I was gonna say I'm about to do another one, but I told Beimfohr that I would go and do a podcast with him, and I have got to I got to go eat something I've not eaten yet today, so I'm gonna go grab some food. Everyone, thank you for hanging out. It's been a grand old time, and I'm probably gonna stream tomorrow afternoon with Easy, so we'll be back then. Later, everybody.